Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. We are live. Coming off of a banger of UFC 327, heading into a bit of a sleep fest at UFC Winnipeg. We're going to break down the full card. Of course, we'll give our reaction to 327 as well. Welcome to the Moneyline. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. How you feeling after a savage Saturday?
I feel like everybody in Miami who was in that place, oh my God, this is why we love this sport. Some insane moments. AJ, when Yuri Prochazka went down, I ripped the hoodie out. You know, so for those of you that don't know, Carlos Ulberg was my lock of the year, my first lock of the year on Premium Channel. Biggest bet I placed in 2026. I slammed that plus 110 line over the weekend on Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg blows his knee out. Now you guys know this part. Gets that KO, bro. The hoodie came off, whipped it in the corner. I mean, it was full Super Bowl celebration, AJ. And one of the first things I thought was, I got to check AJ's live and see his live reaction. I got to check everybody's. That was a moment in MMA history.
On one leg, puts him out like a true savage striker. Listen, man, Yuri Prochazka decided to play with the food a little bit, mercy or not. The injury happens, he's pointing down, instead of attacking, instead of, keep on chopping at the leg and mix it up. He'll back off. He'll let Ulberg, meet him in the pocket. Very weird. I don't understand. Even I'm like, bro, just take him down. Like, could Ulberg stop a takedown at that point? I'm not sure he could have. And Prochazka's pretty strong. He choked out Glover.
What happened when Prochazka pointed down? Do you remember? Prochazka first points down. Carlos Ulberg's like, all right, let's run it. He points down again. Carlos Ulberg lunges at him with a combination, tries to clean him with a left hook. Carlos Ulberg even broke the ceasefire. Carlos Ulberg was not playing games back with him, Even watch that initial point down. He points down. Carlos Ulberg's like, all right, I respect that. Thank you. He points down again. Carlos Ulberg's like, I'm going for his jaw, and tries to crack him with a shot. So Yuri's not getting the message. Yuri, for any of you guys who are super confident on Yuri, or some of you people, more so the people who are like, this was a fluke, Yuri was on his way to winning. I think it's important to admit that Yuri Prochazka is a samurai. Yuri Prochazka has Bushido code. Yuri Prochazka is the type of guy where his opponent gets injured and he goes, no, brother, we're going to fight. And we're going to fight with honor. We're going to fight with respect. That was paramount over winning the world title, And the best example is like John Jones. Somebody's injured in front of John Jones. He's going to continue to injure you. He's not going to get close to you. He'll continue doing the stomp. He'll continue doing whatever he needs to do to win the fight, Yuri. So Yuri Prochazka with I think Ray Longo had a nasty take. I just played AJ before we went live on it. He's he made a massive mistake, and even on one leg, AJ, even on one leg, Carlos Ulberg sleeps him in the first round. Carlos Ulberg KO is the pick. Carlos Ulberg gets the KO without his back leg. I mean, absolute insanity.
History for Carlos Ulberg. Takes the belt. And, good striker at the top. Problem is, though, when the hell are we going to see him again? Obviously, we don't know for sure. The ACL is potentially torn. Could be a year off. Might have to do an interim title. Strange situation at light heavyweight where they're trying to get the division moving with a new champ. We might have a new champ on the sidelines. I will say this, looking at the fight, Yuri Prochazka, it's honorable. No, it's just fucking kill the opponent, bro. It is a goddamn UFC championship main event. I don't care if it's a goddamn amateur fight. Go out and win. At the end of the day, go out and win. It's sport competition. At the end of the day, that's very respectful. He's trying to point down. But no, he played around. And he got caught looking like an idiot. And he'll make or he'll feel the regret of this moment for the rest of his life looking back. I hope he lets it go at some point. But the immense, down moment of what could have been, the title was in his hands. He had that fight.
That's his daughter's college money, bro. Right, like, what are you doing, man? This ain't What are you doing? You're gonna give that away for what? For what? Why are you rushing Carlos Ulberg? Did you not just do a tape study and watch how this dude bangs left hooks throughout his whole kickboxing career? Bangs left hooks throughout his whole UFC career? Did you not see him trying to set you up in this fight? And you're just gonna run right in there. What happened when he got knocked out? High, low, feint, high, feint, low, feint, high. He came to feint low. Carlos Ulberg said, go to fucking sleep, you idiot. You know, eat the fucking canvas, dumbass. It was upsetting because Yuri's a great guy, right? I'm not being aggressive towards Yuri, but I'm being aggressive towards that choice. I mean, listen to the post-fight press conference. What did Carlos Ulberg say? He goes, I wouldn't have done that for him.
You shouldn't. I don't think anybody should take that risk and, you know, get yourself serious damage, because is Yuri's chin ever going to be the same again? You know, he just got knocked out again.
Another good point.
Right? Like, how does he bounce back? You know,
before we went live, you made a great fucking point. AJ goes, this ain't an amateur fight.
Yeah.
It's the world title, Yuri. Kick his leg again. And again, and to be fair, he was kicking his leg, but you know, at range, can we do it at range? You don't have to rush this guy. You don't have to hurry. You got 25 minutes. He's on one leg. What is this? Yeah, let's bang it out right now, bro. Got what he deserved. I mean, for people who are saying, oh, Yuri had it in the bag, but we saw Yuri be Yuri. I mean, you know, he's the type of guy, as Ray Longo said, he's the type of guy on top of Mount Olympus, drinking his own piss upside down. He does this. Checks out.
OG Herb, thank you for $4.99. Me and my brother-in-law jumped 10 feet in the air and screamed like little kids watching that main event. Best in a while. Great call, Finch. Yeah, W to the Finch for believing in it. I'm impressed, Finch. You and you
got paid.
Crazy? You and my brother both were on Team Ulberg locks this week.
Your brother's pretty good, dude.
Dude, he's a fight.
Shout out his channel real quick. Where's your brother at?
Alex Talks Fight. Shout out to him. Dude has done 2 breakdowns this year. 2 money picks, perfect picks, main event. Yeah, Moicano sub round 2, and he gets this one. So respect to my
damn dude. They're all gonna go to your brother. No, your brother's great. You always tell me when your brother has a sly dog or a good pick. So shout out to him. I know you said he picked Carlos Ulberg, brother. I mean, I was seeing the same thing. I understand not everybody agrees with it, but I really think Carlos Ulberg's like a 9 out of 10 times against the Yuri Prochazka, and we almost saw the 1 out of 10. Like, he got injured, still knocks him out. Yuri Prochazka moves forward with his hands down. I said it before the fight, and I'll say it again after the fight. It got him knocked the fuck out. We did a lock of the year. This is my first lock of the year for Premium Channel. Shout out to everybody who made money, because a lot of people did jump in for lock of the year. That felt great to be able to. Everybody who went on that roller coaster with me, dude. You know, I said, you're my family now. You know, it's like that was some ride.
Jesus, dude. I feel like, you know, the joke of the AJ main event curse with Yuri selling that one in the palm of his hand, bro.
Oh, AJ picks real well, okay? AJ,
dude, the main events have got me slipping. I hit Kevin Holland as my underdog lock. I was very happy about that.
We both rocked Kevin Holland. Hey, did I pick dogs nicely this pay-per-view too, bro?
No, you did good.
Hoke it. Kevin Holland.
Ulberg. He was an underdog when you bet him.
Ulberg. Was like even.
No, it was good shit, dude. I think overall the knockout victory for Carlos Ulberg. I mean, if he's doing it on one leg, what would have happened if this was him uninjured over the course of 5 rounds?
You saw him working that leg of Yuri, right?
Yeah, he was. And that check left hook, bro, it was a perfect shot, and out went Yuri Prochazka. You know, the technical striking was elite.
Yeah. And, come up on him, rush up on him, see what's up.
Yeah, no, he
keep
looked
seeing
good,
what's
man.
Up. Carlos
Ulberg versus who next, though? That's the thing about this weight class. Here's
the thing. Perfect weight class to be injured in. The injured champion for 205. Perfect. Injured champion for some of these other ones. Heavyweight's been pissing me off, you know? Let's run through these contenders. 205, bro. Paulo Costa versus Ankalaev. Winner gets a title shot. I like it.
You know, I just feel like with Paulo Costa, he's a wild card. You got no idea where they're going to match make him after a sensational performance where he knocked out the undefeated Russian dark horse of the weight class, and he looked as good as he's ever looked. I know people say, oh, Paulo's back to form. Now, this is beyond form. Paulo Costa that fought here was the best version of Paulo Costa I have ever seen. And I think that's because at 205, he fills out the frame beautifully. He doesn't have to worry so much about cutting all the weight. He's a good-sized light heavyweight. I think he's a problem in this division on the feet against anybody. Are you kidding me? Seeing the shots that he landed on Mirzakhanov, could he not crack Magomed Ankalaev with something powerful and do damage? Could he not crack Khalil Roundtree? I'm thinking to myself, if you're really focused on, becoming the world champion, this is seeming like the proper weight class. Potential number one contender fight next, potential interim title fight next if they want to go the route. I know he talks about Khamzat though. It's just like, does he cut the line now at middleweight because of a light heavyweight win when you got Imavov, who's deserving of a crack? I don't know if Imavov doesn't want to fight. I'm confused with the middleweight division. Obviously, we got Strickland and Chimaev coming up next month. But looking past that, let's say Khamzat Chimaev goes out and wins. What's next then? Is he going to try and jump up to the light heavyweight division? Well, Carlos Ulberg might be on the sidelines for a bit. If he wasn't injured, maybe a possibility of Ulberg versus fucking Khamzat. I think it would have been sick, though, in a different world, if we would have got Yuri Prochazka versus Khamzat for the light heavyweight belt, something like that. But unfortunately, not the case, man. Not the case.
I'm good with it. I don't need to see Yuri Prochazka versus Khamzat. I think Khamzat's got some fun ones at both weight classes. I don't mind him staying. Fucking middleweight's got some contenders, dude. Middleweight's got some action. So I see action for Khamzat at middleweight. I don't even want him to jump. Paulo Costa. What did you, the first year we were hosting the show, I worked for Bellator, and Paulo Costa came through and did the Liver King Challenge, liver eating thing, and I was hanging out with him. What did I tell you about Paulo Costa, AJ?
You said he's like the size of a heavyweight.
I said, this dude is a heavyweight. How on God's green earth does Paulo Costa make 185? I said, he's bigger than some Bellator heavyweights. This guy's huge.
It's bigger than Josh Hokit.
Absolutely, he's bigger than Josh Hokit. So here he is against Azamat Mirzakhanov, and dude, he's bigger than Azamat Mirzakhanov. Azamat Mirzakhanov was a fat guy compared to Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa's a black hole, man. Azamat was slamming him with shots. He was doing the bounce in thing. We were talking about bang, he was coming in. Bang, he was coming in. Paulo Costa ate that shit. Give me more. Give me more. It came out in the third round. Paulo Costa was like fresh again. It was like, what the fuck, dude? He just ate all that damage and acted like it was not an issue. And you know what, AJ, honestly, I think he's been building towards this point because he's gone through these tough fights and he was actually pissed off, had a chip on his shoulder. Like that's just that little edge Paulo Costa needed mentally. He's like, this motherfucker is not beating me, and he made that choice and he made it a reality out there in the cage. His will to win was fantastic. His ability to absorb damage was fantastic. His cardio was better than ever. So the issue with Paulo Costa is exactly what I laid out before the fight. Still, he's not that accurate. So when Paulo Costa starts coming downhill at you, it's like he's hitting those Muay Thai pads, those big pads. Bang, bang. Everything he throws is just like it's hitting a heavy bag. Mirzakhanov is much lighter, much more finesse. But when that bounce resided, when Mirzakhanov started breathing heavy, had to wrestle with Paulo a little bit. Shout out to Captain Eric Alberison. When he was, when he was breathing heavy, that's when Paulo beat the shit out of him.
He did beat the shit out of him.
He just needed him to stand in front of him.
Yeah.
And when he did that, he fucked him up.
Yeah, it was excellent. I'm just thinking about what's next for Paulo. Like, the talk is he still wants to drop back down to 85.
Fuck that. Ankalaev.
I think it's a mistake. I know. Him versus Ankalaev. Top contender fight. I'm down for that. I think Costa's capable to challenge for a belt. Right. I'm down with it. His kicks are nasty, dude. My God. I don't know. I'm going to go out and say this. I think Paulo Costa's the best kicker in the UFC right now. Who's better at kicking than him?
He's the hardest kicker right now. It's not like when he's kicking, look at how many times I see in the comments, Costa's kicks are accurate. No, they're not. Look at him hit elbows, dude. Look at him
break your arm. Shit.
Jesus Christ, bro. He cracks shins and elbows all the time. He does the old Boss Rutan thing. If any of you are as nerdy as I am and you've watched those old Boss Rutan instructionals, dude, I think I had it on VHS. I'm not even kidding. This is a long time ago. Boss Rutan used to say, when somebody blocks, why would we care? kick right through the block. And Paulo Costa does that. He doesn't care if it's your elbow. He goes, my shin is going to break your elbow then. I'm going to come and put it through your body. And dude, I Mirzakhanov could do it for, like 7 minutes, not 15, bro. He could not do it for 15 minutes with Paulo Costa.
No, and he didn't. He got knocked the fuck out. Nasty head kick laid down. And I don't blame him. He said, get me the fuck out of here. This animal, this Brazilian animal is too much for me. So
he hit him with everything, AJ. That's all he had. Like, here, one last thing, dude. People were saying, oh, Mirzakhanov let me down. What? Watch the second round back. That was Mirzakhanov. He was doing his shit. His shit is balls of his feet, loopy shots, closing distance quickly. All that worked. And it didn't put the Yeti down, dude. He was still there in the third.
I think Paulo Costa stay at 205. Go him, Ankalaev. Let's go number one contender fight. Or maybe something crazy. Him versus fucking Yuri Prohashka. That's fine too. Either one of it. They could do that. It depends what's up with Alberg's timeline and return. We could see a top contender fight, including Yuri. I think they want to keep Ankalaev a little bit far away from the throne. I think they're like, oh, we'll give him Khalil if he wins that. Maybe he'll, be considered. But I think Costa versus either Yuri or Ankalaev next in a top contender fight. Fuck this middleweight division. He's too big for the weight class. I think if you look at his performance here, and then you think about him at middleweight, it's like that's not the same animal because he doesn't have the cardio for it.
I'd rather see him at heavyweight than middleweight.
Agreed. So Paulo Costa, hopefully he's sticking around at 205 because he's a fucking contender. Fight before, put the middle fingers up in the air. Josh Hokit in a dogfight against Curtis Blades was able to get the hand raised. Damn, son. Kid's got grit. Balls on him. Dude's not losing a fight. Dude. He almost knocked Curtis Blades out in the first minute. He was all over him with punches. Just consistent with accurate shots. Took some big ones, too, from Curtis. All volume. That was a war. It was one of the best heavyweight fights, maybe, ever, but definitely one of the best heavyweight fights in a long fucking time. They went after it for 3 rounds. And Josh Hokit, I mean, he's a problem in this weight class because he seems to have the volume that a lot of the guys can't match. And he's a high-level wrestler. He's a little lighter than everybody, so he's a little faster. I'm curious to see how him versus Derek Lewis goes. And I got to say, dude, early lean has to be Hokit. I think he can out-wrestle Derek Lewis anytime he wants. You're thinking here, oh, well, he's just going to strike because that's what he did with Blades. I don't know, man. Maybe early, but I could see him taking D-Lou down and mauling him on the ground. So I think Josh Hokit is absolutely a player in the top 5 of this weight class now.
Josh Hokit with the fast hands. This dude went out there and had a war. This is when you want to do that. So many people have wars in the gym. So many people have wars in the amateurs, right? You want to get to the UFC, get into the spotlight if you're going to have your brain getting rocked around like this shit. This was where it pays off. Josh Hokit just went from this annoying sideshow to a absolute, fire in the heavyweight division. I mean, he just absolutely changed his life in a massive way, earned a ton of fans, including, Dana White and the president of the United States, who has him on the White House guard now. As you said, Derek Lewis, they called that night and accepted the fight. Look, man, Derek Lewis was looking slow in his last one, brother. My boy Tyrell Fortune was there in the corner of Waldo, and he's like, I could not believe how slow Derek Lewis looked, is what he said to me. Hokit's fast with the hands. One redeeming quality you could say for Derek Lewis is Hokit took a lot of shots. But here's a goofy narrative I keep hearing from you on the internet. Let me set it straight. This idea that Curtis Blades won this fight, this idea that Curtis Blades landed more punches, outstruck Josh Hokit, you would have to be blind to not see the difference between Josh Hokit's clean landing shots and Curtis Blades grazing him many times as Josh Hokit's moving in with these shots. Yes, they're both hitting each other, but Josh Hokit's moving in, he's rolling with these shots, he's staying loose. Curtis Blades is eating a lot of them very clean. And you could, an obvious example of this is how their face looks, which should definitely be a factor. You're wearing the damage, but also I'm just seeing the cleanness of the shots. There were many moments for Hokit. There were moments for Curtis Blades That the craziest brawl they had was when Hockett was like towards the fence and Curtis Blades is coming downhill at him, throwing shots on him. Landed some good shots then. It was just there wasn't enough steam for Curtis Blades to really hurt Hockett, as where Hockett, dude, dropped him. I mean, remember when his knees gave out? Almost had him out of there early. Couldn't get him out of there because you know what? Curtis Blades is a warrior. Curtis Blades, he wanted to win that night. Curtis Blades was not going out like that against Hockett. He felt very, very, it was serious business out there for Curtis Blades. He really did not like this dude. And you got to respect the balls on Curtis Blades. He went out, he stayed in the fucking fight. He tried to win. And yeah, easily the best heavyweight fight in UFC history.
I think Curtis Blades needs to be respected on the fact of he took some fucking hammers and he could have went down. Fighters have gone down in that same position, being hurt. They said, I'm good. Curtis Blades had a lot of disdain for Hockett that kept him in the fight. And deserves some respect and love for it. But Josh Hockett, he showed something that even when he's exhausted, he's still dangerous. He's going to still keep on throwing, man. Like, he looked gassed after round one. So did Blades, really. But he looked like he was on ice skates. He was wobbling all over the place. Never stopped. Kept putting the middle finger up. Kept throwing big 1-2s. Josh Hockett is a fan favorite and I guess a fan most hated. It depends which side you're on. I saw a buddy of mine today at the gym and he said, I hate Josh Hockett. I hate him, and he's like, I'm about Derek Lewis could maybe knock him out, So it's like he's got people talking. Everybody knows Josh Hockett now. Either you love him or you hate him. I don't think there's many in between. I'm a fan of it. At the end of the day, I'm a fan of it.
You're a fan of what?
The style.
Okay.
The fighting style. If you're going to talk like a fucking psycho, if you're going to say dumb shit and you fight like that, say whatever the fuck you want. You're going to win fights? Say crazy shit. Is it, cringe? Yeah, but it gets everybody talking. And then he goes out and performs like this. It's a huge deal, man. He's burst onto the scene this year. Contender series in the fall to now contender in the fucking spring.
Here in my respect.
Life-changing. Insane, man. The guy went from fighting Max Gimenez, a guy nobody knows, right, at the Apex, to now W against Curtis Blades on a big stage, and he'll be fighting at the fucking White House. And if he wins at the White House, I mean, they're going to try and book him in either a #1 contender fight. He could be a shoe-in for a title fight with the mouth he's got on him. And he's already talking shit to Poatan. You got America versus the UK. If somehow he gets an Aspinall title fight and Aspinall's still champ, let's say he beats Pereira or something like that. So, yeah, lots of things to be excited about. I think we got a fun one. Then, they even signed Gable Steveson. So speaking of the heavyweight division,
Jesus,
Gable Stevenson's now on the roster. He's
Love
debuting on International Fight Week. So we got some savages, and it's good to see some American savages too in the rankings and, amongst the elites now.
Yeah, Gable Stevenson's the Olympic gold medalist. Why not put him on the White House card? So many things don't make sense about the White House card. I like Derek Lewis being on it because Derek Lewis, he did the famous, hey, call the president. He talked to the president on the phone and, for the post fight. So, that makes perfect sense. Of course, they add him late, again, goofy matchmaking for the White House card. Dude, this guy, I separate the two things. Okay. I separate the two things because as a fighter, he earned a lot of respect from me. He earned a lot of respect from everybody. He showed a style of fighting that where he's all gas. Josh Hockett is, throttle open, right? Fucking pedal to the metal, in your face, fist flying at you. Takedowns coming in if he wants to, although he didn't try against Curtis Blades. He's done it plenty of times. Curtis Blades tried that single leg. He pulls out. He goes, fuck you, right? And it was actually the perfect time to flip him off because it's like we're getting in this great striking match and you're shooting single legs. I think that was the vibe, and that energy carried through the fight. Brother, he's an entertaining fighter. He's never had a bad fight. He's all drive, which is just fantastic.
You met him from Bellator?
Who are we talking about?
Hockett?
Hockett, never.
Okay.
Never. Not to my knowledge. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I certainly never heard this character. I mean, yeah, dog, the character, dog. I can't, bro. I'm clicking out of stuff. Like it's so bad. He needs me to write lines for him. Josh Hockett at Mike Finch MMA on Instagram. At Mike Finch Show on Instagram. DM me, bro. Let's go. I could. Me and ChatGPT are much better than whatever the fuck you're coming up with, bro. Like, Like, I'm serious. Use ChatGPT. Download Grok. Like, get some help with this Hokit, because some of these rhymes, like my favorite one so far is wear shoes in your house just to say fuck your couch. I was like, that was almost funny, but come on, man. A lot of these are really bad. One thing he does, he name drops. He called out Chama, Poatan, right? He's talking about, I'll fight Yuri, move up to heavyweight. We could do open division. I mean, he's doing that, but am I annoyed with the gimmick? Yeah, it's terrible. Look at Dana White up there, just so uncomfortable when he's talking. It's it reminds me of Henry Cejudo's cringe thing, but for some reason, this is worse.
He's the new king of cringe.
This is worse, bro.
Nah, fuck the king of cringe. He's the emperor of cringe, bro.
This is worse, Bill Burr. This is worse. I'm serious, man. It's bad. He really needs to like Chael Sonnen. Call Chael Sonnen. Chael will help you. He needs help.
He needs help, but in the cage.
In the cage, you don't need no help.
Hey, W to it's Kevin Elbasri. Thank you for 99. Finch, read it off to you.
Hi, Coach Mike. I miss you. Thank you, Amelia. Hey, we'll train soon, okay? Amelia, I've been seeing your gymnastics, and you're getting older and more athletic now. I think we got to train soon, because your sister, she's throwing some good punches, okay? And I'm not going to have you fall behind, so we'll get to work. I miss you too, Amelia.
Finch, man, we got to keep running through this main card, then we get into business with Winnipeg. I know you're trying to put it off. You're like, yo, we ain't trying to talk no Winnipeg.
This is the best fight night I've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. This fight night puts UFC pay-per-views to rest. You've got talent like Robert Valentin versus who's this Canadian bum they signed?
Leblanc.
Leblanc. I had to torture myself with watching Leblanc fights today, bro. He has some left leg kicks and knees, and that's it. Okay, I had to torture myself to watch a dude far less athletic than me fucking fight this week. So I'm super excited. Let's go.
Almost there, man. We just got to quickly run through snooze fest of the century. I don't even want to talk more about it. Reyes and Walker was slovenly.
Skip. Hey, keep running though. I want to talk about Pico. Cub Swanson beat the shit out of Nate the Train. Nate the Train. Hey, my boy Kevin, who dropped that dono, he goes, you would beat Nate the Train. I'm like, damn, dude, that Nate the Train looked vulnerable out there, dude. Cub Swanson smoked him. He's 41.
42.
Nate the Train fell off, bro. The train is off the tracks.
Train is off the tracks, man. He's going to BKFC soon. And then Pico obviously had bit of a master class. My God, he looked good. The hype is real. Yo, I picked Aaron Pico by decision. I was like, I think he's going to be calculated Pico. So I was hype on the method of victory, because I was like, I'm seeing this calculated style from him this time. And he fucking did it, dude. I'm proud of Aaron Pico, genuinely, as somebody that's seen the whole career.
Now you guys got to see the violence in Aaron Pico's shots. I mean, oh my God, when he would shoot the takedown with his elbows wide so that, he probably wanted to take him down, but Patricio would defend. Boom, he would send him away with that hook to the body. You saw some of the violent right hands, violent 1-2s he was putting on him. Some of the takedowns are beautiful transitions, how he chain wrestles. You guys got to see what Pico is capable of. He has these God-tier skills, and they come from his grind. Like, the special thing about Pico, AJ, is he's super fast twitch like that. He's got that explosiveness that makes you go, oh my God, this is 1 in a million. And he has cardio. Look at the end of that fight. He's not breathing heavy at all. Aaron Pico's the hardest worker in the room, no matter what room he's in. He doesn't look like a Greek god like that for nothing. This dude is in nasty shape. He comes in there violent. He's breaking you down. It was beautiful to watch. I'm really glad UFC fans got to get a glimpse of Aaron Pico. Yo, the first fight he was going to come in as an underdog against Movsar Evloev. I'll tell you what, Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico is sick, because Movsar Evloev doesn't have a ton of punching power. We all understand Aaron Pico's faults. And you want to wrestle with Aaron Pico? I want to see it.
I think Aaron Pico definitely on the cusp of something big, and I see him competing pretty well amongst the top 10. I'm looking forward to more him versus like Melky or Arnold Allen, the winner between those two. I'm intrigued by that. I think they could even do a Kevin Villegas fight, which would be nuts, bro. Obviously, Villegas is the opposite. He's big power all the way through and through, one shot, touch of death. And, obviously Pico, we've seen the chin wobbled a few times too many. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Aaron Pico, but nonetheless, excited for it. Patricio Pitbull, I mean, him and Josh Emmett could be a fun one if they're looking to throw OGs after it.
That's cool. Patricio Pitbull took damage in this fight. So shout out to Patricio Pitbull for staying in it. But you saw the Greg Jackson influence, right? And probably Mike Winklejohn too. Aaron Pico would hurt him. Pitbull would shake a little bit, but you saw he was still there. And what did Aaron Pico do? He would back up. He did it multiple times, dude. He would bam catch him with something. You would see Pico Patricio Pitbull wobble, and Aaron Pico would take 2 steps back. So he knows he has the cardio to go all 3. So I don't mind. Like, that's an interesting way to have him fight. It's very interesting. Like, it's like, okay, it's 1 punch KO, if an easy TKO comes, otherwise we're gonna keep letting this guy off the hook. Just keep cooking him in a responsible way. It worked. I mean, the only thing about that is you give them more opportunities. The more times I rock you and I don't finish you, the more times I allow you to get something going against me, right? If I finish you in the first, if Josh Hawkett could have just landed one more perfect shot on Curtis Blades when he was rocked in that first round, he would have got him out of there. It's just that he didn't. And he Curtis Blades recovered and they had that war. Curtis Blades had moments, right? So you let somebody stay in the fight. Chael Sonnen wins 1, 2, 3, 4 against Anderson Silva. You let him stay in there in round 5, he got triangled. So you're going to roll the dice in that way as well. But I thought it was very interesting because Aaron Pico has cardio. So maybe we see intelligent Pico now, and maybe a matchup against Vallejos, he just takes him down and smashes him. Aaron Pico's wrestling is fantastic, man. I want to see him blend it with the jiu-jitsu a little more. But, I mean, you saw those wrestling transitions he had with Patricio Pitbull, who's been with Captain Eric Albarracin, who's an Olympic-level wrestling coach, coached a gold medalist Olympian in Henry Cejudo. Like, it's impressive.
I love it, man. I love it. This card, listen, it was a banger. AJ finally trusted in the Cub, man. Thank you, Pick'em, for 23 months of membership. Yes, I did.
At 42. That's right. Thank you for the correction.
Yes,
42. You saw him that they go, Cub, are you're done? He goes, I told the wife I'm done. Is he coming back, bro? He can't go out like that, huh?
Yeah, listen, I think it's good to go out like that because the other way he goes out on the other end of it. Eventually it's going to happen if he sticks around long enough. They'll end up giving him Kevin Villegas or they'll end up giving him Aaron Pico and he ends up getting chinned. And we don't need that, man.
This is a case where coaching worked out for somebody because Cub Swanson, he's training with Larian Douglas. He's training with, Dan Argueta. I mean, just young guys who are giving him some speed and some fast wrestling and some fast sparring. Like it makes him comfortable in front of Nate the Train. It makes him feel like he knows Larian Douglas would sleep Nate the Train in the first round. So he's like, why can't I? I'll go fuck this guy up too. I think he gets better looks in the gym and all this respect from these guys he coaches. I saw somebody comment on my last show. They go, yeah, but these guys in the gym are taking it easy on him. What the fuck do you know? You're not in the, So I think these guys are giving him good looks in the gym. And I think that it showed. Look at how he performs at 42, dude. Shout out to Cub Swanson, man. He's been in some fun ones. Last guy from the WEC. You got to respect that career.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Cub Swanson will coach a champ at some point. Like, I think that's possible for him. Never became a champion himself, which I think can lead him to being a better coach because, he's always right there. He's real good.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I said that prediction on the recap show. And I said, we'll check back in 20 years and we'll see. But I think he can coach a world champion at some point. I think,
dude, we had to fight his Alta team last year. So it was Team UFC Jim Huntington Beach, essentially my team, versus Cub Swanson's team over at UFC Jim Costa Mesa. And they did well against us. I think we picked up 1 win and they picked up a couple wins against us. If you look at Alta on Saturday, we went 5-1. UFC Jim Huntington Beach went 5-1 against other UFC gyms. So it just shows like even Cub Swanson coaching people who've never trained before at Alta, which is a lot of fun. And, the fights are always wild. They fight in shin guards and shit. Their MMA gloves have a little more padding, but it's an MMA fight. He's great. He's great.
That's cool. That's cool, man. W Cub Swanson. W to the career. We want to get into Winnipeg. It's time. All right. So make sure you guys hit the likes. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe. And let's talk about fight number 1. We got Jamie Siraj versus John Yannis. Listen, Jamie Siraj is the top featherweight out of Canada. Okay. And he's a very strong pressure grappler. He's in your face. He's throwing wild shots. He's looking to take your ass down and he's looking to choke your ass out. Now, to be fair, he was getting out grappled by this strong ass Brazilian dude 2 fights back. He did have a quick win last time. He got knocked out by Diego Brandao with a spinning fucking back kick 3 fights ago. The thing is, as much as I think John Yannis has the knockout chance here, the guy's got a weakness in grappling. I'm even digging back to years ago. He's fighting Mo Miller. You remember Mo show on the fucking Contender Series, strong wrestler, never got signed, but he just controlled this kid from Tampa. And, you know, I just think the Mo show and him had a close split decision. That's years ago. Then I'm looking at these other fights. He's getting subbed up by, you know, the side of Gabriel Vanderlei, who's a good grappler, high level, you know, talent for sure with jiu-jitsu, and then gets destroyed by Austin Bashi. I know it was short notice, but the style that he brings to the table, he's a fun striker. John Yannis can fucking punch people in the face. Oh, shit. I love the stand-up. Good leg kicks, too. Tight. Kind of Muay Thai style with good straights. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Taco, but a little bit better with straight shots and a little less elbow focused. But the problem is I don't feel overly confident on him being on the feet for long enough to be able to land. All Siraj is trying to do is get a hold of this motherfucker. I'm going to go towards Siraj, but if he gets mogged at the fucking weigh-ins by Yannis, maybe I'll consider going the other way because there is a piece of me that's like, dog, I know Yannis has the striking chops to sleep Siraj. The problem is it's not like Siraj is this chinny bum. He's in great shape. He's a high-level grappler. He's in your face the whole time. He's got really slick transitions on the mat. He's got nasty chokes. I'm going with Siraj by sub because that's just the Yannis weakness, man.
It's striker versus grappler in this one. You know, I was looking at some of Siraj's early fights and the commentaries like he's very well-rounded, but what his career has turned out to be is he's a grappler. Like if you look at him, even when he's on bottom, he'll go for heel hooks. You know, he's a dynamic grappler. He'll grapple from every position. You know, so I feel like he's going to find a way against Yannis, and they're in Canada. Yannis has got some pop in his shots, you know, but yeah, he has submission losses. He has an issue on the ground. You know, he did just beat Nick Aguirre. Slick Nick Aguirre, I would say a friend of mine almost, you know, I know him from XFO and I know him from the local fight scene. I've been to MTC before a couple times. We filmed with some of their fighters, Daniel the Predator James and them. Nick Aguirre's always there, always saying what's up. So, you know, and he's a good grappler. Nick Aguirre's got some nice jiu-jitsu and back takes and stuff. And, you know, Yannis was able to handle him. But the thing is, I think Siraj is a little bit more complete of a grappler, a little bit stronger. Like Nick Aguirre sometimes has trouble getting bullied, and I don't think Siraj will get too bullied here against Yannis. I do think he could drag him onto the ground, and dude, if he's in top position, he hunts for submissions. He'll find a strangle. So Siraj, even if he gets hurt, finding a way to work through it, getting onto the back, getting a rear naked strangle over Yannis, who's just not well-rounded enough to be a UFC fighter right now.
Siraj minus 256, Yannis plus 216. That Siraj sub side seems like the A side plus 190. Yeah. But if you are thinking maybe you like the look of Yannis, you know, because he does have power, you think he might knock him out, you can get 5-1 odds on a KO. And I'm expecting that people are going to play that line down. So, like, even though it's not the prediction, on the opposite side, if Yannis wins, I think he's got to find the chin. And I think he could. I think Siraj's grappling is going to be the ultimate difference maker. I just don't love his stand-up. I think it's a little sloppy. He's not the cleanest of the strikers, but his style is so in your face that it's hard to have any moment to create space. So, you know, it's Siraj needing the grappling. It's Yannis needing the striking. I'm going to go the grappler over the striker, but obviously Yannis hits hard.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. I think those odds are right.
Yeah, I think so too. So we're both going the Siraj side, using the grappling. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got John Castañeda versus Mark Vologdin. We got the UFC OG versus the man involved in the greatest fight in Contender Series history.
Whoa.
I got to just believe in the prospect. I'm going Vologdin, man. I just got a feeling. A lot of the times I would favor the side of the savvy veteran, but the thing with Castañeda is he's striking-wise going to be clearly slower and less tactical with the stand-up. He's got decent strike volume in close-range boxing, and Castañeda's got a hell of a leg kick, but at the end of the day, Vologdin is fucking slick. The way he rips the body is beautiful. The straight shots are on the money. The kicks are nasty. He's a karate specialist that transitioned it for MMA, and he can strike all angles, all spaces. Everything is shirred up. He lost to Luna Martinetti, but this kid is a fucking nasty prospect fighting Davey Grant in a debut. So both of these guys have gotten like high praise from the UFC. You coming off a loss and they're like, hey, we're going to give you Castañeda. I think this kid's got something, man. I don't know. The thing about Vologdin is his style matchup. He's short. He's like 5'5", very low center of gravity. I think Castañeda needs takedowns. He's not good at striking as Vologdin. No way. But if he can wrestle him, maybe he can push a pace and win via that. It's hard for me to say, man. Castañeda, I mean, you give him respect for going distance against guys like Daniel Marcos and Chris Gutierrez, but
you lost.
He's still losing.
Those are strikers too.
Right. And I think Vologdin also being real strong. He's pretty fucking jacked. I feel like he's going to be a hard guy to just, manage on the ground. And I don't think he's got a hole in his game. So I'm going to go Vologdin with the striking technicality to win. I think knockout is a possibility. Castañeda, normally pretty hard to put away. That chin could definitely hold up, but Vologdin accurate, especially if he's going to the body too. I'm not surprised if Vologdin ends up getting a knockout and really shows out in a big way here in his UFC debut.
I get the Castañeda side. He's got all the UFC experience. You got Vologdin, who's 0-1 on Dana White's Contender Series. And then, if you look at his record, he's got some wins. He definitely wasn't avoiding competition, but he's also fought, half of those were bums on his record. They're like 50-50 fighters. It's not always your fault. So Vologdin, I'm definitely not saying he took an easy route to get here, but I am saying that Castañeda has seen a lot worse. He's seen a plenty, he got knocked out by Daniel Santos. AJ just went over the strikers he fought. He beat Kang. But he's had issues with people who can defend his takedowns and outstrike him. Like no question about it. And Vologdin can probably walk that path. And that was a war he had. And, he's got a cool style. His arms are like that long, So he's really got to get close to you, but he's pretty explosive. He's actually got some nice pop on his shots. I think his IQ is not bad, man. He is fairly accurate. His defense is pretty logical. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff happening. Technical wise, looks UFC ready. So his attributes aren't amazing. Like I don't necessarily love the build, but he has had issues with takedown defense in certain fights, but in certain fights not. I was watching a couple where his sprawls were on point. Like you said it, it's the Alexander Volkanovski build, the short kings. They got the ability to level change just a little bit easier than the tall guys do. They usually are more heavily muscled, so a little bit of explosiveness to kick out those legs. You can see some of that with Vologdin, and I do think he could take over the striking here. I mean, the more time they're on the feet, the more time Castañeda is getting cooked in this one. I'm gonna lean Vologdin, the newcomer, but I'm not locking him. I understand the Castañeda side.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. -120 Castañeda, Vologdin sitting at +100. We're going towards the what if on the prospect, and this is like a faith-based pick. Let's say this. 6 months ago, he had the performance of a lifetime in a loss and a war against Luna Martinetti. I'll say he's better after that. It's not that Castañeda's old. He's 34. He's still in his prime, but, we kind of know his level. I think Vologdin good enough to put it together. And I don't think Castañeda has the power to do mass damage on Vologdin. So I'm thinking he needs those takedowns. And if he can't get it, I'm going to trust in the striking. Slight underdog, +100 Vologdin, Castañeda -120. It's one of those fights where, betting wise, you're playing with a little bit of fire. At the end of the day, possible to go over 2.5, but note that Vologdin does have some violent finishing intent on his strikes. You look at his career, he does have 6 KOs, 4 submissions, 2 decisions. So he is a finisher first and foremost, though. 10 finishes as a pro. Probably doesn't sub Castañeda, but there's a possibility that the hands do work and he ends up putting them out. So Vologdin the pick nonetheless, to get it done. But knockout or decision, I think either side could be live. It's a little bit of a risky method of victory. It's one of those ones you pick it, you watch it happen. We take evidence for next time if we want to bet on Vologdin or not, I think.
Yeah, I'm more confident in the first fight of the night finishing via submission than I am of this finishing with a Vologdin KO, but he shows his toughness. I mean, this dude could bite down on a mouthpiece and gut some stuff out. And, after Saturday, after Oldberg's gutsy performance, after seeing, I feel like that's really standing out more than ever. I think Vologdin with some grit here is another reason to like him in this matchup.
Let's go. Both going Vologdin.
Never been submitted either, by the way.
Respectable game overall. Makes sense. That build is hard to tap, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking jacked and
Yeah,
shit.
I know.
Yeah,
Seriously, dude. What did Joe Rogan say? He said he's like, sometimes you roll with these jacked Brazilian dudes, and the whole game of jiu-jitsu is push. I push, and it's true. It's like when you get the elbow, they call it watching TV in wrestling.
Yeah.
Shout out to Johnny Eblin. I'm wearing my wrestling is boring t-shirt. Johnny Eblin beat the brakes off of Brian Battle. So shout out to him. I'm wearing the Johnny Eblin shirt. The arm bars are harder to get. You know, there are plenty of issues with somebody who is explosive and keeps their arms in tight with their game, and that's Vologdin all day. He doesn't get caught in bad positions, and I think that'll be to his benefit here.
Let's go. Vologdin W. Us both. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got women's banger JJ Aldrich versus Jamie Lynn Horth. My God, they're doing it to us. Oh shit. Listen, bro. Listen. I'm just gonna go momentum-based pick. I'm gonna pick Horth. She's coming off a nice knockout over Teresa Bleda. Very physical, strong woman, bigger girl, good pressure. Aldrich is pretty slick. She's a southpaw. She has solid kickboxing. She can work decent from range. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but she lacks that physicality element. I almost feel like at times, like Aldrich is like lackadaisical a little. She's good against girls who would play her pace. Somebody like Andrea Lee, who's 40 years old and out, is on the way out, retiring. Jamie Lynn Horth is fucking hungry, fighting at home in Canada, coming off of a nice win, coming off of 2 beatings that she put on opponents. Killed Demopolis easily, and then absolutely fucking destroyed Teresa Bleda in a round, who was supposed to be a prospect at one point. And then you look at the side of JJ Aldrich, it's like, she hasn't fought since, March of last year, and it was a win over Andrea Lee. She pulled out of the fight at 319 with Corinne Silva. She was injured, so there's been a layoff due to an injury. That's not a great look. Veronica Hardy lost back in 2024. Her wins are not outstanding. Granted, back in 2022, Jillian Robertson win. I guess that's aged beautifully, but, Robertson's now at 115. I think that this is just too much of a physical force on this side of Jamie Lynn Horth. And I mean, even her loss to Miranda Maverick, she had some fucking moments. Her loss to Veronica Hardy, split decision in, the early UFC run for her. She beat Haley Cohen by a dominant decision, 3 years ago. I just feel like Jamie Lynn Horth is consistently coming out fighting hard. She's in good shape. She's physically very strong. She's well-rounded. It's hard to see Aldrich being physical enough to deal with that. I'll say Horth on the scorecard should clear.
I think that's right, brother. I think she's got this grit, and she's in a spot in her career right now. I know. You're joking about this not being the greatest matchup we've ever seen in UFC history, but honestly, bro, we're in Canada. This makes perfect sense for this card's prelims. I think Horth is decent. I think Horth is fairly dangerous for this division. Her win over Vanessa Demopoulos was fairly impressive, because Vanessa Demopoulos is a competent grappler and Muay Thai fighter, and she was dominant. And then the Teresa Bleda finish was special too. I think Aldrich is going to be real cagey here. I think Aldrich is going to try to keep this at her range and going to have a lot of trouble doing it. I think Horth is going to break in there, take her down. Horth is going to put a knee in her stomach and an elbow in her head. And I think Horth maybe finishes JJ Aldrich is more my question. And the odds are like close, like minus 150 for Horth. So I'm definitely not telling y'all to run to the box office to bet on a ladies fight, but we did get Tatiana Suarez last week on free channel over on my Telegram. I feel like Horth looks like a juice. Another what was Tatiana Suarez, minus 140? This is minus 150. Looks mispriced. She looks 3-1 to me.
Minus 155 is not bad for Horth, riding a lot of momentum with success. I think Horth by a decision, it's minus 120. So the best way to run it would be just money line it. They already got the over 2.5 juiced. You're looking at minus 500 for the over, so not much on it. And I think the better side is Horth. I think she's going to want it more. I think she's got more dog in her. She's fighting at home in Canada. Aldrich would have to be like picture perfect and really outpoint her. I just don't feel that's likely. So Horth side to show out in a dog fight makes more sense. She's grittier, and I like the gritty side. Finch and I both going Jamie Lynn.
Canada. They're in Canada too, dog. She going for it.
Let's go. Next fight on the card, we got Mitch Raposo versus a nasty Brazilian, Alan Nascimento. Now, when I say nasty Brazilian, I didn't mean that racial. I mean nasty on the ground, because Alan Nascimento's got some high-level BJJ skills that I think exploit the lacking Mitch Raposo game. Raposo coming off the win last time against Azat Maxim. It was a weird fight. Azat Maxim is half asleep at the wheel the entire time and ultimately grabbed the cage and got points deducted. And it was just strange. Mitch Raposo can box a little bit. He's got decent combos and, he's not bad in the pocket with his, right hook, his overhands, whatever. It's just, I'm looking at it and saying to myself, but Nascimento's high level at jiu-jitsu. He should be able to find dominant position. His striking is a little slow. I don't love it. Cody Jourdain obviously had some moments striking, but, did ultimately knock Cody Jourdain down before subbing him. So Nascimento can crack, trains with Charles Oliveira. The red flag, though, around this shit, Finch, is the fact that Nascimento fought at a catchweight 130 last time when he took on the side of Cody Jourdain. And then if you look at the fight before that, he fought Filio and he came in at 127.5. So
hard for me.
He's had some issues on the scales, that's the one red flag. So at 125, here's my worry.
He misses weight.
Fatigue sets in, or potentially he's missing weight. But that could, honestly, him missing weight's not the end of the world, because then he should probably have a better third round and he can secure maybe a dominant grappling decision. But if he makes the weight, I'm just potentially worried about, the body being worn down. Him at this weight class, cutting all that weight, he is 34. Maybe the body's saying, hey, we got to go up to 35, but he knows he's too small for the division. And obviously Raposo, young dude at 27, definitely got a long career ahead. Tough customer, but ultimately I favor the side of Nascimento via grappling control. I think he'll probably take, 2 out of the 3 rounds, probably a decent level of positional dominance and shit. So we'll favor the side of Nascimento's grappling, but Raposo a tough customer for sure. I feel like he's got a lot of will to win, and he shows that even in all his losses. Andre Lima, great prospect. Suma Derji, very good. And then obviously last time beat Azat. So yeah, what do you think, Finch, man?
Alan Nascimento's ground game's too good here, man. I just feel like he just needs a takedown, and this thing could get wrapped up. I like his schedule too. Alan Nascimento, beating Cody Jourdain, who's at least a wrestler. Rafael Filho, definitely solid grappling. Carlos Hernandez, a striker, dominated Carlos Hernandez. That was like ran his ass over. Last loss was in 2021 to Tagir Ulanbekov. So I think that schedule is nice. And I feel like even though he's not fast, like even though he does show like his striking leaves some things to be desired, you could see him getting caught with a big shot and having some issues. He's a bully enough to be able to just find his way to the back of Raposo. I think he's going to get a hold of him. I think he's going to drag him onto the ground. I think here's another submission, face crank, rear naked strangle. I think Alan Nascimento is just too good on the ground to be picking Mitch Raposo to outstrike him and move here. Nascimento strangle.
Nascimento strangle. You think he's going to choke him the fuck out?
I think Nascimento on the ground is like A tier. It's really nice. If you guys watch, I know Carlos Hernandez is not the best grappler, but look at how he just like buzzed right through him. You see jiu-jitsu like that, and it makes you. We didn't talk about Tatiana Suarez, but like you see the difference when Tatiana Suarez gets these girls on the ground. Like you saw Lupi got Tatiana down. And, Tatiana got back up, had to get a hold of her, dragged her onto the ground. And what did she do? She pulled her back. So instead of going up, right, and wrestling like everybody else, she showed the blending of the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and pulled her back into that, the 2 hooks in, then locks up the perfect strangle, does the rotation. It's like you see that level when Alan Nascimento is on top of people. I mean,
show me the perfect strangle, Finch. We're doing
perfect strangle. You have your primary arm and the secondary arm. The primary arm is the choking arm. You want to use your bicep and put it on this set of arteries. You use your forearm, you put it on the other set of arteries. Your hand goes behind the shoulder. I can see right away if you're a bum or not, if you do one of these, right? Or if you do one of these. If you put your hand behind my shoulder, it's so much harder to pry this damn thing off. It's like, imagine you're rock climbing, you put your hand on the ledge, you put your hand on that lat, nobody's finding it. I want to get as much waterfront property as possible. Get that whole noose, okay? Then when I bring in my secondary arm, don't be a bum. Khamzat Chimaev's choke is so good now, but if you watch him against Leach, he does this shit and puts it right in front of Leach's face so Leach could pull it down. He was like, how the fuck do I do this again? You know, it's like you want to put that backhand in there so they don't even see it. Boom, I punch it right through. How do I know I have a proper rear naked strangle locked up? I have a blender. I know I have a proper rear naked strangle locked up when I can wiggle my fingers and you can see them on both sides. That's how I know I've got it locked up properly. Now there's 3 points of leverage to finish. I use my primary arm to squeeze. That's the noose, right? I use my secondary arm to drive in. I'm going to break this blender, dude. I could squeeze hard on this one. And then the third point of leverage is very commonly missed, okay? Rotate your shoulder. I don't know why people still do this 1990s choke where they breathe in or some shit. What the fuck are you guys doing? Take your shoulder and break their shit. Look at the space in here. You see all the space? Watch what happens when I pull my shoulder back. Gone. Yeah, how much do you do when you row in the gym? Like you can take someone's jaw and put it in their soul. You know, I'm trying to rip their head off. I'm taking it home. So who cares if they tuck their chin? Alan Nascimento is going to put his jaw into his neck. And that's going to work too. That's going to work too. I love the Nicky Rod quote from John Danaher. I drop it too often, but it's worth understanding because it gets to the point. He said, if Nicky Rod locks up a rear naked strangle anywhere below your eyebrows, you're going to tap because he'll just break your face, right? That's the level of rear naked strangle I'm trying to see in the UFC.
I like it.
That's the level Nascimento brings.
I like it, man. I just wanted to see that, proper breakdown for the folks. I'm thinking Nascimento maybe he's getting a perfect Finch level rear naked strangle up in here, baby. Let's go. Hey,
I won my amateur title with that rear strangle, baby. Go check it out. MMA University, link in the description on my channel. I literally break techniques down for people. Rear naked strangle, I should do a new video on. There's like an old one on my channel of me choking Danny Halverson unconscious. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite weapons.
Let's go. Junior Mafia, thank you for $1.99. What church you go to, Finch? You preaching, man. Pastor Finch, baby.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I went to Calvary Christian in Illinois. Yes, I did. Yeah, little Finch with I had the vest on with the clip-on tie. I went to it was kindergarten and first grade at Calvary Christian. Yeah, they'd throw holy water on me if I walked into the church now, but I appreciate that, bro. Hey, can you guys tell I love this shit? I love this shit. Okay. When I see somebody who's a technician on the ground like Nascimento, I take notice.
Nascimento, technician, has some odds favoring him pretty strongly. Not too bad though. I mean, minus 191 to plus 166. That's actually not crazy. I was thinking it'd be minus 300 by now, but instead the odds have kind of went the other way. A lot of love on Mitch Raposo. Besides saying Raposo's tough, he can wrestle a bit, he's got some dog, I just think to myself, like, Nascimento skill-wise has a huge advantage in grappling, and I'm not even confident Raposo knocks him out in a boxing match.
You in the boxing match. Don't go there. No, luckily, it's not a boxing match. No, Nascimento's not as fast as Mitch Raposo. In a boxing match, I would be more concerned. But I don't think he's going to be a dumbass out there, man. Nascimento understands. He just needs to, be patient. And when he can close the distance, like as soon as he clasps his hands around Mitch Raposo, it should be a series of unfortunate events.
I like it. Series of unfortunate events coming. We're going Nascimento. And KZ, thank you for the 50 NL. We can't wait to practice at RNC on his girlfriend.
Yo, you know what's funny is girls, especially with you saw Vicente Luque's choke, those Darces, those Anacondas, they're like harder to strangle because they have like a lot of girls anyway have smaller necks, right? So it's actually like I like a big I told you I choked that heavyweight Danny Halverson out. He let me, we videotaped it, but he's like 280. When a dude has that big ass neck, that is so easy to strangle. So funny enough, everything else works the other way, right? The bigger and stronger you are, you have an advantage. Honestly, the neck is so exposed on every single human being. You just have to look at it like this is the biggest mismatch. Everything on my body works forward, right? My legs work forward, right? Everything works forward. Nothing works back. Nothing works back. I can't even put sunscreen on my back. I got to get my wife to put the sunscreen on my back. The human body's not designed to deal with problems back there. You put your chest on somebody's back, you punch that choke in, they're going to sleep.
They're going to sleep, man. We might see Nascimento put Raposo to sleep with this thing, man. We're both going Nascimento. By sub, it's plus 200. We're favoring the grappling skills. They should show out. Up next, we got Melissa Croden versus Daria Zheleznyakova. I'm going with the Daria Zheleznyakova side here. I like her chances, dude. Younger at 30. I feel like she's making some improvement. She got good strike volume. She attacks with some fury. She's got pretty good defense, at least on paper. And I feel like she's going to land more shots. Croden's okay. You know, she's got some decent Muay Thai skills, but I feel like she got to get to the clinch a little bit here. Out at space, I think Zheleznyakova is quicker with her hands. I think she got a little more power. I'm not too worried about Croden's offensive grappling. I think Zheleznyakova can fend off the grappling attacks. And then I'm thinking about the kickboxing. Zheleznyakova fast, man. And I'm surprised she's an underdog, too, because she's like the young girl on the rise coming off of a win against Melissa Mullins, who's a strong grappler and had beaten her outside the UFC in a wild fight. And like her one UFC loss is Eileen Perez. Perez is a top fucking 6'7" fighter in the world now. I think that Zheleznyakova is being underrated a little bit. I think people kind of hyper-obsessed sometimes about a debut, which she won, but it was a decision against Mansi Rendon, who's a tough customer. I know Bia Mesquita made it look easy, but Bia Mesquita is a fucking amazing grappler, and she's got power. Different level athlete. Zheleznyakova is a developing girl, Russian kickboxing with a good stand-up game, and I'm thinking Melissa Croden is a little slower grappling, even though in this matchup, maybe on paper she has an edge. I don't know if we see it. I'm going to say that Zheleznyakova is going to pull this one out. I think she lands more shots, and I think that Canada takes an L in this one. I'm going with the Russian on this.
Damn, bro. I got to pick this fight for real. I got to pick this shit. What are we doing here, guys? If you guys are betting on this, call 1-800 I have a gambling problem. I don't know if that'll work. You guys could Google whatever, wherever you could call if you need help, please. But this is one of those fights, bro. I don't know. They're pretty evenly matched. Dude. Zheleznyakova and her are going to kickbox it out. I think, they're probably going long. Like maybe a way to play this thing would be like the over 2.5. I'm sure that's juiced, right?
The over 2.5 on this fight is minus 250. Not that bad.
So, I'm just saying, Vegas has a hunch about that too. Cause I think this is a really competitive matchup between these two. Zheleznyakova had a decent schedule. I mean, but so is Croden. Like they fought the same girls. Bia Mesquita, you pointed out, who, not Bia Mesquita. Jesus Christ. Mansi Rendon. That performance by Daria, and that she loses to Eileen Perez by arm triangle choke, but that's not the problem here. Like Melissa Croden probably does oblige her with striking, and Melissa Croden is tough. She's pretty durable. But every time she fights somebody good, Jacqueline Cavalcanti, like a mobile striker, loses an LFA. Luana Santos, who is decent, not as good as a Casey O'Neill, but like, she has issues if she fights anybody who's even like B+ tier. So I'm using a lot of words to say don't fucking bet on this fight. Just watch this and enjoy
I like
it.
this Zheleznyakova dog bet, bro. I think I gotta do it.
How dog? How
plus
dog?
140. I feel like it's, to me, I think Zheleznyakova should be a slight favorite. Younger girl, dangerous striking,
They're
Russian
in Canada.
kickboxer. I know they're in Canada too. We'll see if they rig something in Canada. Croden's 36. Oh, Croden. I don't know. Like, I wasn't blown. I like Croden, don't get it twisted. I think that she's a decent Muay Thai specialist. But at the end of the day, the Lisboa fight wasn't easy. Lost to Luana Santos. If Zheleznyakova is getting better each time, at 30, the rate of improvement to me is higher. I think she's a good prospect. She came into the UFC with mad hype. Like, I don't know. Sometimes the debut kind of blinds us to what could be. Outside of the UFC, Zheleznyakova was finishing some girls. I mean, she had finished, two out of her last 3 heading into the UFC with knockouts. Maybe not elite level comp, but decent enough women. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Zheleznyakova. I like it.
9-0. I haven't even seen these fights you're referencing, but yeah, 9-0. Who are they fighting though? Yusuf FC? Like, what are we talking talking about, open fighting championship 7. I don't know. I just don't know. Like even at this point, like Cage Warriors, I think you said that on your other show. You're like, Cage Warriors is like a badge of shame at this point. Like, you're the Cage Warriors champ. Uh-oh, you're getting fucked up, like, damn, that fade him, I could see it, bro. I literally have no idea.
It's really, I fully get it.
I think like you could say 29-28, Daria Zheleznyakova, a little bit of meanness on the striking, maybe even a little bit of technique edge, a little bit of speed, but Croden's toughness, Croden's consistency with she'll switch stances on you, she'll put a little bit of pressure on you. All right, I'll go Zheleznyakova with the Russian with AJ, but I could easily pick flip on this thing by Friday. I ain't fucking around with this fight at all. Am I betting on this? Fuck no.
I think I am, bro. I am.
Oh, fuck, dude. Watch, guys. AJ will get this one right, but he'll miss Malott in the main event. It'll be burned. Watch, guys. Watch.
Oh, shit. Charlie Combat, thank you for the 30 HNL. Jay, start calling him Finchton. Love from Honduras, man. Finchton. Finchton? What are you from? Kazakhstan? Finchton? Holy shit.
It's like the OV for the dogs, Finchton. Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Shout out to Honduras, bro. I've been there. I like to do those carnival cruises. Actually, let me switch that. I hate carnival cruises, but my mom likes to do carnival cruises, so she'll just like buy it for the family. It's like, oh shit, we're going on another fucking carnival cruise. And but it was cool to see the countries, I don't know about carnival, but I really like seeing all the countries, and Honduras was very cool. So shout out, man. You live in a beautiful place.
Hey, let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, we got Tanner Boser versus Gokhan Saricam. Finch, you're a Bellator OG.
Hey, Steve Murray stomped Saricam. Have you ever watched that fight?
Steve Murray is a big giant fucking
Steve Murray whooped his ass. Like, everybody's saying Saricam's this wrestler. Bro, Steve Murray out wrestled his ass all day. Steve Murray was beating his ass, submitted him, So yes, I am the Bellator guy. I understand. But Saricam wasn't no Bellator goat. He wasn't no pit bull. He wasn't no Aaron Pico. He wasn't even Mandel Nallo. What's that?
He beat Daniel James.
Daniel James is a nice win. Curtis Blades beat Daniel James on the regional scene. Daniel James has some serious attributes. He's a giant man. If he punches you, his fist is the size of your mailbox. But he also has some deficiencies. He has no wrestling background. He went to a gym with good grappling at Midwest Training Center, and they got him ready to beat a lot of dudes, including Tyrell Fortune. That was a crazy KO in Bellator. But like Daniel James, not extremely skilled. We got to call a spade a spade. Not extremely skilled. One of the bigger, more slow heavyweights, he worked as a security guard. Like, that's perfect for him, bro. Dude's like 6'5", looks like he's 300 pounds. He's a door. He'll put fear in the hearts of men. But as far as being a martial artist is concerned, I think Tanner Boser is better than Daniel James. Did I feel like, did that sound like I was dunking on Saricam? Saricam's pretty good. Saricam throws big shots. I think he could strike with Tanner Boser, which is a major thing. Like, you need to be able to spend some time on the feet with Tanner Boser. And then I think he could take Tanner Boser down. Tanner Boser is not very well rounded. So no, I am going to go Saricam. Okay. I just see some people, glazing this dude. I don't know. I think it's a problem with Tanner Boser. I don't think Saricam's about to be the champ.
I think Saricam stylistically, especially if he's able to hit takedowns, she'll win. I think the ground and pound is nice. Good cardio. Ready to press for 3 hard. Tanner Boser's a good boxer, man. Tanner Boser, in all of his UFC fights, he only got outstruck one time, and it was his loss to Kute Laba. And you remember I locked him back then? Holy shit. Like, I got a love-hate relationship with Tanner Boser. For a long time. I've always liked Tanner Boser. I just worry about him in this fight with Saricam's grappling and being, a bigger heavyweight. I don't know, dude. Tanner Boser, he did win against Vinicius Moreira last fight, but dude, the first round, he was getting fucked up on the ground. He was mounted and shit. And I mean, Vinicius Moreira was a cabinet of steroids, but like at the end of the day, he still was in a bad spot. Saricam's a lot more skilled, and he's a full-sized heavyweight. I'm going to say Saricam probably positional control, maybe ground and pound, but I could see him going out in putting on, you know, a pressure heavy decision. Boser got a lot of grit though, and he throws a lot of punches. So if Saricam fatigues, you know, a Boser 3rd round madness KO or something like that, it's not impossible. Boser's got some knockout power. He's got good grit. He comes to win every time. A lot of volume in your face. A little unorthodox boxing, likes to throw like chopping shots over the top. I'm telling you, bro, he's Canadian, bro. He be chopping all that wood, bro. That's where he got his style with those fucking overhands and shit. But I think the Saricam grappling and even the Saricam technicality, he can strike with Boser, okay? I'll go with Gokhan to win by probably unanimous decision.
We don't need their wood. We don't need anything from Canada. And, you know, so maybe Tanner Boser's not cutting those trees down anymore, bro. U.S.-Canada trade on the rocks. I think Tanner Boser had some embarrassing performances. Ian Cutelaba running him over. Like, how do we forgive you? Especially, it wasn't even modern Ian Cutelaba. It was Ian Cutelaba in 2023 running him over. Yeah, I think Saricam could smash him, dude. And even on the feet, like I said, Saricam's not out of sorts on the feet. Saricam's got some big shots. He hits people with powerful shots. He's very planted, which, you know, sometimes is an issue. It's going to be an issue if you fight somebody who's got a good bounce and good in and out. No, Boser's not good enough, bro. I think this Canadian's going to lose. Give me Saricam. Submission. TKO, maybe. Mounted TKO.
So minus 155 Saricam. Boser plus 135. If you like him inside distance, plus 135. If you like him by decision, plus 275. I don't know. At least right now, we got to sit on it for a bit longer. Don't know how I feel betting wise on this fight. Boser's got good volume, and you know, obviously Saricam seems to be a bit better though. Now the Bellator guys lately have been doing pretty good though. So honestly, maybe we got to just ride the momentum of ex-Bellator fighters winning. What do we got? Like
how the times have changed,
right?
How the times have changed. They forget about Mandel Nallo. You know, they forget about, some of these boys are out here getting dubs now. What's up?
We'll go Bellator. Bellator for the W. Gokhan, Saricam to pull this one off. And I think you should be able to beat Tanner Boser. Let's keep running.
You can next hate me now. But we can't stop now. Come on, Bellator.
Let's go, Bellator. You heard they might be bringing it back. PFL might be rebranded to Bellator again.
I did, bro. I did.
Which is weird, though, because it's not Bellator.
Are they desperate or what? Change the name to Bellator. They're like, what can we do? What can we do? Wow, man. I've never heard of a drowning like this. Oh, my God, bro. The amount of money PFL's got to be losing. Oh, my God. They let Francis Ngannou walk. Francis Ngannou was a total bust, dude. They couldn't make money off of Francis. Fuck, man. They got the president changing, they changed hands over. Man, rebranding to Bellator would be wild, but it would make all my t-shirts way cooler again. So
hey, they would. Yeah, no, I mean, for your sake, I hope it happens, bro.
For my t-shirt collection, I hope so.
Let's go. Let's keep running. Listen, if Bellator comes back, that'd be fun, but I just have low expectations.
I wouldn't even mind a complete name change, bro. I don't know
why you gotta go back. Like, why we gotta? It's not Bellator. That's not bullshit.
It's something new. Make it something new. Like PFL to me was the tournaments.
Yeah.
PFL.
That's the problem. That's why they're having issues, because it's like PFL feels like the tournament league. I don't know what the fuck could they change the name to. That's what I'm wondering.
I think a lot of people like the 3-letter acronyms. You see it throughout sports, the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, the UFC. So there's something to that. You see that?
The Elite Fighting Championship, EFC, baby.
Just hire all the fucking oldies. I liked Mike Tyson's. He's like, my league is legends only, like legends. Or you could try to go a different route. I like Lights Out. Lights Out from Sean Merriman was cool. Yeah, Lights Out is like, you could then incentivize the knockouts, or you give them a trip to Hawaii, all expenses paid. Whoever gets the craziest knockout of the night, somehow make it about putting people's lights out.
That is fun.
Let's get a new angle. Can we get some creativity here? So, I don't know about, and being a former Bellator, I can't even say employee. I was an independent contractor, but working for Bellator, I don't think they should go back to it. No.
Let's go. Let's get to the next fight. It's our featured prelim. We got Julien Leblanc versus Robert Valentin.
Goats.
Ah.
Goat talk.
I'm sitting. I
Goat
picked
talk.
LeBlanc, but it's like, I have had love for Valentin before, but like I gotta get my head out of my fucking ass.
You got
bro.
hate
Like,
for Valentin.
like I'm like thinking that Gautier fight. I gotta think back to him. I
Fool
don't
me
know.
once, shame
Right.
on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
You ever play UFC, any of the EA UFC games? This is like the template character. You throw a little fucking beard. This is him. Julien Leblanc is the UFC fucking template, bro. What are they talking about here? Oh, shit. So it's Destiny's in the UFC. This is the face of the template. If you played Undisputed or back in the day, like I'm talking about UFC Undisputed, this was it, especially, bro. That was him with a little beard. Like, that's him. That's the template. So it's nice to see him finally here. I think LeBlanc could potentially put Valentin out. He's got pretty good kicks. Nice Muay Thai. Beat Darian Weeks a little while ago. I don't know, dude. Like, Valentin is crazy, but like Yuri Prochazka lost last weekend. Valentin reminds me of Yuri Prochazka. And now he's fighting a guy with some decent enough Muay Thai, coming off some wins. The only reason this fight is happening is because they're in Canada. I guess I'll go LeBlanc, but I mean, Valentin could potentially surprise. And he's got 3 UFC fights, but like Ryan Loder finished them. Got dominated by Therese Finney. I mean, that loss not
How
terrible.
those UFC fights go, bro?
Bad.
Holy shit. This dude got melted. Valentin melted against Atabagatie. Shit was embarrassing, bro. Torres Finney's pretty bad. He lost that fight, and you hit the nail on the head with Ryan Loder, dude. Ryan Loder beat your ass. You know what I mean? How is that age, dude? I think Valentin's too soft for me, bro. At least Julien Leblanc's got balls. The thing with Julien Leblanc is when I'm watching these fights, I had to watch Julien Leblanc fights getting ready for this card. All right. Y'all better hit that donation because me and AJ are getting gray hairs and shit watching these fights for you guys, dude. I'm watching LeBlanc fights and I'm looking at him fight dudes who are 6-9, right? I'm watching him do fights 15-11, right? I'm just watching some of these fights he's had 0-1. I mean, a couple okay guys, I guess. Darian Weeks and he fought a couple guys who are okay. Can't completely hate. I don't mean to just dunk on the dude, but I'm not seeing any athletics. Like there's nothing about LeBlanc that jumps out at me as being like high level and athletic. I will say this, the dude's got a rear leg. Like he uses that, I believe it's his left leg, right? I wrote it down here. Is he a southpaw? He only has a left leg, yeah, because he's southpaw. So that back leg, he's got kicks. He goes to the head with them. He'll throw knees with it. Like he clearly has some power in that back leg and he uses it a lot. So he at least shows he has fight IQ. Like he has some ability to wrestle and grapple as well, and he uses it. He can submit people. He can hit takedowns. Like there's a competence to his brain, to his fight brain that I can respect and I can get behind, and that's why I'll pick him here against Valentin, who's been in the UFC a little more. But I mean, let me say very clearly, this is one of the slowest UFC fighters I've seen. This is a guy who's doesn't strike me as a pro athlete. So while I may pick him over a Valentin, you'll see me fade him as we move up the division.
LeBlanc is plus 115, Valentin minus 135. I think this is the 1-800 gambling problem.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Bro. Holy shit.
All right. I feel you. I mean, at least LeBlanc's on a nice win streak. I don't know who against, but at least LeBlanc's out here getting his hand raised. Valentin's out here quitting. Valentin's out here just quitting, It's tough to see that and pick somebody. It really is, man.
Yeah. I see in chat, Real Shi Ming says Valentin is going to win. He's more proven. In the UFC, though, what proof do we really have? Not getting finished by Therese Finney, I guess. Right?
If this card could be summarized up in one sentence, that's it, Yeah. Proven based on what? Him not getting finished by Therese Finney. That's this card in a nutshell. Yeah, dude, he can look good in Lions FC, in Aries FC, in Levels Fight League 5, Yeah, he can look good there. But in the UFC, I'm seeing some major problems. Okay. So this is not Atabagatier, to be fair. It's kind of the opposite of Atabagatier. You've got a dude who has no pop, you know. But like I said, he has a rear leg. Maybe that's enough. And you know what? Maybe the grappling is enough. I could see Leblanc out grappling Valentin. Absolutely, I could see that happening. So you know, I don't hate what are the odds? Don't tell me LeBlanc's a big favorite.
No, he's a plus 115 underdog.
Bet the no, I'm just kidding. Come on, guys. I'm just kidding. But LeBlanc.
We'll go LeBlanc. Let's jump up to what is the main card opener for this UFC Winnipeg card. Make sure you savages hit the likes. Make sure you savages subscribe. We got Dennis Buzukja versus Márcio Barbosa. I got the heavy-handed Brazilian savage getting a first-round knockout in this one. Dennis Buzukja can box a bit, but he also gets hit, man. Francis Marshall put him down, knocked out in 40 seconds by Jamal Emmers. And this Barbosa dude is the definition of insane Brazilian, okay? Dude's got 14 first-round KOs. He's got 2 first-round submissions. He got 1 fight that went distance, okay? It's violent finishes left and right. And his pro loss that we see recently in 2022 was to Gabriel Santos. Gabriel Santos also beat Jose Delano, who's a great prospect. Barbosa seems really good, man. The power Muay Thai style. But what I like is he's a stance switch hitter. What he does is he does an interesting stance switch. And I know you picked up on this, Finch. He'll throw that rear hand, switch the stance, and then rip it over the top. I like that shit. So I feel like he just has more angles to his game than Buzukja, and obviously serious intent with power. I think Buzukja's probably getting chin, dude. I got to go Barbosa knockout. I think he's a problem. He's a fucking jacked Brazilian with 14 first-round finishes, a big win on Contender Series where he looked crazy good on the feet. And Buzukja also coming into this fight after some time off, which I don't love for him. He hasn't fought in a year and 7 months, and you got a first-round knockout specialist on the other side. That usually goes bad. So we'll go Barbosa KO.
Perfect UFC debut for Barbosa against Buzukja here. I think he's going to light him up. You know, such a finisher. Like Barbosa hunts in there. He's got his finger on the trigger, ready to take you out. And I feel like Buzukja, you're right, being out for a little bit, you know, having some losses inside the UFC at the lower level. This is not one of those times where the UFC experience comes through for the guy. I really feel like we're seeing first round knockout here for Barbosa, one of the most confident picks on the card.
Yeah, Barbosa should clear. He's a minus 455 favorite with Buzukja at plus 335 as the underdog. Under 1.5, minus 160. I'm going to say yes. I don't even have a knockout prop available, but Barbosa KO or even potentially Barbosa KO round 1. I think he's going to get that stoppage, man. I don't think Barbosa is taking an L here, but I don't even think this fight goes past the first. It could be first exchange, dog. Like, I really think Buzukja is going to have to try and wrestle, and I don't see Buzukja taking him down either. I think Barbosa just forces hell on him and he KOs him. I think it's like, honestly, we saw like Lahian Douglas, the savage with heavy hands, get a sick KO. I'm thinking something similar with Barbosa against Buzukja here, dude.
I think it's first round, brother. I think it's violence too. You know, this is like, if you were going to pick a fight for Barbosa's debut, this is a great one, man. Fighting in Canada, I mean, you always got to be careful. Like, you know, the one time in France, the Athletic Commission messed with the foreign fighters and stuff. That's really what I'm thinking about at this point. As far as the matchup is concerned, Barbosa first round knockout's a pretty confident pick.
You know what, though? Buzukja's not Canadian. He's from Staten Island. So we're good.
So they're not even going for their own boy. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's a big Brazilian population in Canada, I think, bro. So
really, there's a lot of Brazilians in Southern California, dude. I've been really surprised. Like in Chicago, it's very rare to meet a Brazilian. My friend married a Brazilian, but like that's rare. Like around here, I meet them all the time. You know, there's a heavy Brazilian population in Huntington Beach. You know, maybe they're all going to King's MMA. Maybe that's why.
Let's go. Barbosa, the Brazilian W incoming. Let's get to the next one. We got Thiago Moisés versus Gage Young. This one's interesting.
Yeah.
Finch, I want to have you break this one down first.
Okay.
I don't want to hog the mic too much.
No. You're all good. You're all good. I like when you go first so I can bounce off of you. It's all good. Yeah, I'll take the mic here though. I mean, Thiago Moisés, win loss, right? It's like hard to pin down when Thiago Moisés is going to have a good performance or not. Looked pretty bad last time out. And Gage Young is young, right? How old? 20. What are we looking at here? Gage Young is a child, 25. So the Mahashate win last year. I feel like coming in against Thiago Moisés, he should be able to handle himself in a lot of areas. You know, Thiago Moisés on the feet with Jared Gordon was looking real slow, missing shots. I think Gage Young sees that and sees opportunity. Gage Young can wrestle pretty well too, like pretty well rounded. Thiago Moisés can't necessarily just put the jiu-jitsu on him. For those of you that don't know, Thiago Moisés, excellent at jiu-jitsu, not excellent at striking or wrestling. So, loses to Ludovic Klein, no harm done. His wins are Trey Ogden and Mitch Ramirez, not that great. Benoit Saint Denis ran him over. We're back in 2023 at this point. So not a ton of activity for Thiago Moisés either. I think Gage Young could be getting better really quickly here. Gage Young keeping active in 2024, 2025. He's fighting some good guys. Killian Sal killed Evan Elder, Eric Grant. I feel like a Thiago Moisés is like, now is the time for Gage Young to beat a Thiago Moisés. Still a good matchup, and Thiago Moisés is in anything. He could always win by submission, but I think Gage Young is pretty significantly better at striking than him. I feel like he has a nice performance here. Let's say decision.
I think Gage Young shows out. Yeah, good boxing on the inside, dog tough. Moisés got to have to grapple him. You just don't know with Moisés. I remember heading into the Trey Ogden fight. He had changed up the training, whatever, and he absolutely showed out. Then, he's supposed to be really on fire against Jared Gordon. He gets knocked out in the first round. So, I don't know. Thiago Moisés, very hit or miss, and I just have to favor the upside on the tough young American on the rise with some dangerous hands, and gave Salkild a good go, gave Evan Elder a good go. Yeah. And Thiago Moisés, I feel like, dude, he's a jiu-jitsu guy that, has okay striking, but he's a little passive. I don't know. He just doesn't, I don't know, man. He just don't got it to me. He's only 31, so it's not like he's old, right? I'm seeing it in the chat. Moisés washed. I don't think that it's washed. I just don't think he's, an elite caliber guy. I think his striking is okay. But ultimately, his ground is where he shines. And if he can't get you there and you're a guy with some boxing on the other side, I could see him melting to the power shots, dude. And I know a lot of people will sing the praises. Well, remember when Moisés went 4 rounds against Islam Makhachev? All he did was play defense and purely fight that fight to survive. Like, he prayed, please don't stop me. Like, he held on for dear life. So he didn't even try to win, So let's not act like he had this dog fight with Islam where he went 4 rounds. He did what sometimes happens when you don't want to fight the opponent. You'll lose later or potentially a decision.
Yeah.
He's going to get cooked here.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think Gage Young should be able to get a nice highlight here, dude. Possibly finishes Moisés. It's tough to finish some of these jiu-jitsu guys who know how to stay in there. And you just used a great example. Like, Moisés knows how to survive if he needs to. So I'll say Gage Young, 29-28, maybe even 30-27.
Young decision. He's a -120 favorite. Moisés plus 100. I think Gage Young gets it on the judges' scorecards. Better punching. And listen, maybe if the Moisés chin is gone, it could be a big punch from Gage Young and potentially he ends up, flatlining them. But I'll favor the scorecards, close money line. I'll favor the prospect with the momentum versus the, win-loss. But to be fair, though, Young coming off the win, he'd been win-loss for a couple, so he's technically, he's due for the L and Moisés due for the W. So if you're a little bit superstitious, maybe that's your selling point, but I will not. We'll go towards Gage Young for the dub.
Gage Young for the dub. Count me in, AJ. 25 years old, but this is a good spot for him.
Yeah, agreed. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, Jasudavicius versus Corinne Silva. I think Jasudavicius out-wrestles the fuck out of her. Yeah, takedown control. She can beat her up on the ground. I actually think Jasudavicius can kickbox with Silva fine. I think Corinne Silva was that overrated Brazilian. It was her and Natalia Silva, and one of the Silvas was destined to be a contender. One was not. One was destined to be a pretender. You know what I'm saying? And the truth be told, man, Corinne Silva, she just isn't that good. I mean, she got a nice decision over Diony Barbosa, but did she win the fight? There's argument that she could have lost that fight. It was 2-1. She got out-wrestled. Last time out, Macy Barber handled her. Before that, she lost to Viviane Araujo. She came in with a lot of hype, but when you really take the magnifying glass and look closely, win over, Poliana Botelho, who was never really anything. And then, win over the side of Ketlin Souza. And, Ketlin Souza obviously was one of those, good strikers who's still mixing it up, but she's small. She's at 115. Marina Moroz was washed when they fought. Ariane Lipski gets a decision. That's fine. But like Jasudavicius is a contender. She lost to Manon Fiorot, but before that, she had Malott, Jessica Andrade, dominated Myra Bueno Silva, subbed up Ariane Lipski de Silva, Fatima Klein W, who's a great prospect, Priscilla Cachoeira sub. Like the losses for the side of Jasudavicius inside of the UFC are Natalia Silva, Tracy Cortez, and Manon Fiorot. The Tracy Cortez one, I guess, is the worst of the bunch, but Cortez is a good wrestler and she can throw some hands. I'll say Jasudavicius wrestles well and controls.
That was 3 years ago too, bro. I feel like Jazz going on that run when she won and when they were in Canada, the Bilal Muhammad Jack Delacarter, was Jessica Andrade, ran her over, Myra Bueno Silva, Ariane Lipski, the Fatima Klein, that Priscilla Cachoeira, that run 2024, 2025. Jazzy Jazz, I think, really turned a new page, AJ. And Manon Fiorot loss. It was a phenomenal performance by Manon Fiorot.
Yes.
I'm not writing Jazzy Jazz off, man. I think she's going to be able to dog walk Karine Silva. She is 37 years old, so that should be said out loud. Karine Silva's 32, but the Macy Barber loss has aged like milk. Viviana Rougeau was able to bully her. Like, I think Jasudavicius is bullying her. I think she's going to take her down and smash her. Jasudavicius. The real question is, does she finish her or not? That one I can't tell, but Jasudavicius is the pick, and it's a fairly confident one.
I'll say Jasudavicius decision, minus 170 on the decision. So they're telling you to go F yourself. Minus 270 on the Jasudavicius money line with Karine Silva at plus 230. Jasudavicius, I say she secures 2 out of 3 rounds, lands significantly more takedowns. I think she'll land like 3 to 5. And I don't know. Karine Silva, she don't have enough pop. She's not accurate enough. Her striking is okay, but I feel like it's like athletic striking versus precise striking. Manon Fiorot knocked her out because she's a precise technician with killer abilities versus Silva. Why is she throwing that shot? Well, it's reactive, but it's just not. It's not elite. And Jasudavicius is like that line between the elite of the elite and the very good women. And I think Jasudavicius should win.
Yeah, I think that's exactly on point. And in Canada, I don't know, she seems to fight well. I mean, obviously the Manon Fiorot loss, but it's Manon Fiorot. Besides that, dude, in Canada, she's been like extra impressive. That seems to be a fire in her eyes in Canada. So I'm gonna say this is a great bounce back fight for her. I think Jasudavicius is better at mixed martial arts than Karine Silva and gets this thing done.
Let's go. Let's keep running. Next fight: Mandel Nallo versus Jai Herbert.
Rat garbage.
Bellator OG, tell me about him, Finch, man. What do you think?
Rat Garbage is good, guys. He's technically sound. I see a lot of people talking about his grappling, which is pretty good, but his striking's technical too. He's TriStar. He's, training with GSP and training with all those good strikers and just good MMA fighters out there in Canada, Rory McDonald and all them. He's an OG. Mandel Nallo's been around. Check the age on Mandel Nallo because he's been around for a minute. I've been able to see him fight live a couple times. Definitely a vet at 36. He's got how many fights? Let me see, 14-3. Actually, not as many as I thought, but I've just seen multiple in Bellator, and they gave him some decent fights in Bellator. Adam Piccolotti was a Bellator standout. His a couple of these performances, couple of these first round KOs he had were pretty impressive, and then gets his shot on Contender Series, looks really good against Samuel Silva. He's fighting Jai Herbert. It's beat to death, but almost KO'd Ilia Topuria, right? So he'll always have that, as crazy as it is that he has suffered a vicious knockout loss in that fight. That's his best highlight of his career, dude. Dropping Topuria like that was crazy. So it shows you what he's capable of. His weapons, he's got some quick striking weapons he can let go. Split decision with Chris Padilla is not even that bad either, because Chris Padilla, you guys see, he moves forward, he walks people down, he's that dynamic with the short striking and the elbows in his game. So a split decision is not even bad. Beat Ronaldo Bedoya, who's a little bit of a bust in the UFC. Let's be honest, 4 or fight losing streak. A decision with Faraz Ziam, another talented striker. So I think Mandel Nallo's in for it. I don't think Mandel Nallo is going to dominate Jai Herbert by any means. But, I think Mandel Nallo is probably a little bit more dangerous than Jai Herbert, and also has the grappling aspects too. Jai Herbert more so being isolated as a kickboxer, especially a kicker. Fairly technically sound, but I think that actually works for Mandel Nallo. He likes a technician across from him, somebody who's kind of explosive and hunting, has a better shot against him. And I think in 2026, Jai Herbert is not that guy. So give me Mandel Nallo, but it's not a lock.
Mandel Nallo, I'll ride with that pick as well. I like the awkward striking style, a little unpredictable. He's a long guy, as is Jai Herbert. 2-inch reach advantage, though, for Jai. The thing about Jai Herbert is he's very technical and, winning these fights by outpointing people. Nallo has that little bit of nastier power potentially to land and a little more the chaos factor than Jai Herbert, who's going to keep it like classy technical kickboxing work. And yeah, Nallo potentially grappling. I think it's one of those fights where it's like, go towards the side of the hype on the Nallo and against, Jai Herbert, who, lost to Padilla in a close one. It was kind of a snooze fest, and then beat Bedoya, but that doesn't say a lot. I feel like Nallo coming off a nice knockout on Contender Series. Obviously, he's a guy that's pretty hyped up in Canada. I think he's got a chance to show out in this fight. I mean, does Jai Herbert have a chance to fight at space and technically outstrike him and win 2 rounds out of the 3? Yeah, but I'll favor Nallo to create some chaos and potentially hit the chin of Herbert and maybe even drop him. We've seen Herbert, he hasn't been put out in a little bit. We've seen him put out. I know the Ludovic, like there's fights, right? The Ludovic Klein fight will blind you. Well, he had a draw with Ludovic Klein. He went distance with Faraz Ziam. And then you start questioning your pick, but it's like, wait a second. Jai Herbert hasn't looked good in a little while. Like, he looked okay with Bedoya, but that doesn't mean a lot to me. Nallo's a lot better than Bedoya. Nallo was a fucking prospect in Bellator, and the guys that beat Mandel Nallo as of recent are grapplers. Against a fellow striker, I'm not going to pick the Jai Herbert side. I think Jai Herbert's past his best. I think Nallo is in his prime form now. And at 36, just getting to the UFC, I think he's got a couple fun fights on the way for us. I'll say he gets it done in his debut. He should.
Yeah, Jai Herbert, 37. Jai Herbert's had a tough schedule. I do respect that. Those names you're mentioning, that's a pretty damn tough schedule. What Kyle Nelson, Ilya Taporia, I don't have to mention, right? Ludovic Klein, Faraz Ziam, Ronaldo Bedoya, and Chris Padilla. That's a tougher schedule than Mandel Nallo's. Samuel Silva, Robert Series, Davison Hibero, Carlos Canada was 12-13. So I'm just not locking Mandel Nallo here as somebody who's seen Mandel Nallo fight cage side, but I like your assessment. I think Mandel Nallo actually can deal with a technical striker much better than a bullying grappler.
Yeah, agreed. Odds for the fight, -180 for Nallo, +155 Herbert. Knockout prop for Nallo, 2-1 odds. What's Nallo by sub? +375. Something to note about Mandel Nallo, he has never been the distance. So, with that, you got to worry a little bit, especially with Jai Herbert on the other side. He hasn't finished the fight since, his loss to Ilya Taporia, and then he had a win in 2021 against Kama Worthy, but he's been all decisions. Nallo, I think he could stop him. Potentially, too. Nallo's jiu-jitsu dusted off in this one, and he showcases a sub game. I'm going to say Nallo's got more punch and power. A little bit of that unorthodox flow works. He's at home in Canada. Confidence is through the roof, and potentially puts Jai Herbert out. I think Nallo's ready for this spot. I think he's got the power to sleep him. We'll go Nallo. Favoring KO even, but obviously bet-wise, he's a bit of a favorite in a debut against a crafty OG, but we'll go Nallo dubs.
I'll go Nallo decision. Jai Herbert hasn't been finished since Ilya Taporia back in 2023, but Mandel Nallo, give him a run for his money. Mandel Nallo can rock him. I think Jai Herbert's technical enough to make it through those rounds. I think this thing could get close, could get competitive. If Mandel Nallo grapples, it'll probably be a good thing for him. He is a well-rounded mixed martial artist. Yeah, we'll go Mandel Nallo, but it's a good fight.
Let's go. Let's get to the co-main event. We got Kyler Phillips versus Charles Jourdain. Listen, dude, it's Charles Jourdain army for me. I'm picking Charles Jourdain. I like this matchup for him. I think that his striking works incredibly well at 135. I mean, the knock on him at 145, he was a little shorter than the upper echelon of the division, but he always had heart. I mean, you think of Charles Jourdain, even years ago, went to war with Shane Burgos, and like there's been nice fights in the mix. Went to a split decision with the Giant and Sean Woodson. Decides to drop down to 135, subs up Victor Henry, who's a very good grappler, gets him in the gilly, subs up Davy Grant, gets him in the gilly. Davy Grant's a crafty vet.
Yeah.
The ultimate test, bro. Davy Grant tests everybody.
Yeah.
I think Charles Jourdain could make Kyler Phillips uncomfortable. I'm going to say this. I got a base take on this one. I think Charles Jourdain makes Phillips a little uncomfortable on the feet. Phillips is a good kicker from distance and a good right hand straight down the center. He's good from the outside. Problem is, Charles Jourdain is better from all ranges. He's faster, he's more explosive, and he's more dynamic with kickboxing, whereas Phillips is a more distant striking specialty. On the inside, Charles Jourdain's getting good boxing off, attacks the body a little. Phillips has been bullied. We saw it against Vinicius Oliveira. He was getting dog walked and just thrown around the fucking cage. Lost to Rob Font. Getting out fucking struck by an aging Rob Font. Getting broken, turns into a wrestler. When Phillips is uncomfortable, he'll turn into a wrestler here. Charles Jourdain snatches the neck. We're going Jourdain Gilly again. Gilly gang, Charles Jourdain. He makes it 4 straight. Let's go Jourdain by sub.
I like it. Yeah, Jourdain's got a nice choke, dude. When he hit that choke against Victor Henry, my buddy Shohei Yamamoto trained with Victor Henry for years, still trains with him, close training partner with Victor Henry. He's like, nah, Victor Henry's submissions or defense is good. That's just Charles Jourdain's guillotine being sick. He's assuring me because he told me Victor Henry's next fight, which I shouldn't probably announce.
Victor Henry's next fight?
Yeah. You know who it is?
Bryce Mitchell?
You already know that? How'd you know that?
Because I saw Josh Barnett's tweet.
It's out there. Oh, I didn't know that's out there. Bryce Mitchell versus Victor Henry. And I was talking to Shohei, and I'm like, Shohei, don't you think Bryce Mitchell is going to submit him? He's like, no. He's like, it's very hard to submit Victor Henry, very hard to grapple with him. And I thought that was an interesting take, because in my head, I go, okay, Bryce Mitchell submission if Charles Jourdain can do it. But, I did see how much of a catch that was with Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain has this thing where he has the kickboxing. So he's kickboxing with you. You're concerned about the kicks and the punches, and then you start to grapple. You leave your neck out there. He's going to take it. So it's him having other weapons makes you go into those chokes. It's not isolated. It's not coming from his wrestling ability. It's coming from his striking ability. He's got the striking advantage against Kyler Phillips, and he has the jiu-jitsu advantage. And Kyler Phillips has already been bullied. Now, you mentioned Vinicius Oliveira. It's probably responsible of me to point out Vinicius Oliveira is more of a bully. Right? Mm-hmm. Vinicius Oliveira is much more physically strong than Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain is not a bully in that way. Like, he's not explosive like that. He has a different style. So I don't think it'll quite look like that, but I haven't been impressed with Phillips in years. He's lost when he fights decent competition. Charles Jourdain's kind of in his prime right now. They're in Canada. It's lining up for him. I like Charles Jourdain in the spot. I think club and sub is super live.
Club and sub, Charles Jourdain, plus 550 for the sub if you're feeling like a menace to society. Moneyline, he's around the minus 150 spot as a favorite. I like Jourdain's chances. Phillips plus 120. I think Jourdain more grit, tough matchup, striking speed that can match, better boxing on the inside, and I think the better grappler. So I think the Charles Jourdain W feels absolutely fucking right, bro. Let's fucking go. I'm hyped as hell for this fight, bro. Like, this is like one matchup that makes me excited for this card. I'm a big Charles Jourdain believer, and I think he's found his flow here.
Air Jourdain, man. Air Jourdain. Yeah, I think the matchup's right for him. Charles Jourdain has been getting some correct matchups, though. Matchup wise, I like how he matches up with Davy Grant and Victor Henry. Davy Grant's a good one because Davy Grant's and he got the submission in the first round too. Smacking Davy Grant like that's a really solid one. So I feel like he comes into this one guns a-blazing, AJ. I like it.
I like it, man. I saw a video today of Kyler Phillips dogging Charles. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to beat your ass. He was having like a meltdown. I don't know why he posts on his story. I'm like, this ain't a good look. This seems like a young boy. Like, he seems like a young boy terrified of opposition. Like, I don't know. That to me was like a wilt in the arm or him talking shit like that. Because I don't think of Kyler Phillips as a big shit talker. He seemed like emotional. And I'm like, I think he knows Charles Jourdain. Subconsciously, the answer. And I think he knows that his opponent's got his number.
I mean, I would like to watch that. I haven't seen him have that rant, but stylistically, how he matches up with Jourdain. Jourdain's just too dangerous for him, dude. I don't like this one for Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips really got mollywopped too in his last two. So let's say that Jourdain is going to be able to show levels even on the feet. Like even that's the thing. Kyler Phillips would need that advantage, right? Even on the feet, whether he goes to the ground or whether he's on the feet, I think he's in trouble no matter where he goes in that cage.
Let's go. Let's go. Finch and I both going Charles Jourdain. I'm feeling damn good about it. Let's get to the main event. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe it up to the channel. Tune in every Monday with me and the Finch man, breaking down the cards. We got Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. My prediction is going to be Mike Malott to win. I think that Mike Malott should be able to beat past his best days, Gilbert Burns. Now, if you're on the Fade J side,
you guys know what to do.
If you're thinking it's the main event curse, then Mike Malott has just been cursed. He will lose at home in Canada to Gilbert Burns. He got a huge underdog. I just think Mike Malott wins, dog. I really do. I feel like Mike Malott, striking wise, can match the slower and aged Gilbert Burns. This is the biggest reason I like Mike Malott in this fight, is even a little bit of a combination he landed on Kevin Holland. And then I'm watching Gilbert Burns and I'm like, I don't think he's got the eyes for it at 39. I think Burns is showing that sign of slowdown. He's got grit. He's got dog. He still wants it bad, but I just don't think he has it anymore to the same level he once did. Yeah. And Burns was never the most technically slick guy. He's a guy that relied on big bullying pressure and power and then strong grappling. I think Malott's too quick. I think the kickboxing is too sharp. I think the grappling defense is live. I think that the side of Mike Malott could potentially put an aged Gilbert Burns out. I think there's a possibility that Mike Malott's getting a knockout against a past his prime Gilbert Burns, dude. I really do. I think Burns, obviously, he's, but it's Michael Morales, though. Yeah, but he got fucking broken in the first round. He got fucked up. He went down once and was done. And then kind of, all right, I'm going to come back for it. Then went down again. I just think that the side of Mike Malott is more primed by a substantial degree. And I just can't bring myself to pick the side of a difficult grappler to deal with explosive overhand power, but a Burns that is showing me evidence that he's slower. So I think Malott W.
I really saw somebody today going, but Gilbert Burns against Khamzat Chimaev, you guys have seen what he's capable of.
Right.
Guys, that was in 2022. Right. Gilbert Burns is 39 years old. Gilbert Burns is on, what, a 5-fight losing streak? And he just melted for the first time, a true melting by Michael Morales, who I know you guys think is good, but is not. He's actually really sloppy. He does a lot of shit wrong. And was able to blast right through Gilbert Burns. So I think Gilbert Burns against Mike Malott's going to get cooked here too, man. Mike Malott, he's got Charlie Radke. Has that aged nicely or what? Charlie's been out here finishing.
Knock him the fuck out, bro. Mike Malott has power, underrated heavy hands, dude. Even, the power he showed against Radke. Obviously, he showed big power even against, I know Mickey Gall's not that good, but he fucking starched Mickey Gall.
Yep. I think he's a better striker than Michael Morales. Michael Morales has a lot of power, but Mike Malott's a better technician. Absolutely, I would much rather take Mike Malott's striking class than So I'm just saying that I think Gilbert Burns is past it. He's 39 years old. Can we call a spade a spade? He's not a rich man. He's cashing out, dude. He's taking whatever fights. Look at the schedule they've given Gilbert Burns. You guys ready for this? Oh my goodness. Bilal Muhammad loses the decision. Jack Della Maddalena knocks him out. Sean Brady loses the decision. Michael Morales, they're giving him top contender after top contender. It got harder as that went on. Michael Morales is worse than Sean Brady. Now they're going to give him Mike Malott. They're not doing any favors for Gilbert Burns. I wonder why that is. Could it be that he has a lot of UFC fights? He gets paid a lot. He's 39 years old. They're going to send him to Canada to, go fight this young Canadian kid, Mike Malott. This is how you set a fight up for a Mike Malott party. Mike Malott is 34 years old. He's in his prime right now. He's on a little streak here. He just beat Kevin Holland. I think now's the time to come in there and put Gilbert Burns away. Mike Malott by knockout is a lock.
I think so, dude. I think Burns is going to break with some big shots to the head, man. The Malott side by KO makes perfect sense. I'm glad you're on it too. I assumed you would be. 4 straight losses, bro. That's also another thing we have to mention. What does that do to his confidence? he's sitting here. He's lost 4 straight. You can say you're confident, but 4 straight times he's taken L's, and it looked worse than ever last time. He might lug some big shots against Mike Malott, but I don't think he's putting them away. And I think Malott on the feet looks good. I know against Neil Magny, he sold with a minute left in the fight, but he was fucking Neil Magny up. You know, the ultimate sell. Jesus, that was crazy.
That really made me question Mike Malott at the time, dude. And so coming into the, Charlie Radke fight, I'm wondering if Charlie could do something to him on the ground. But he passed that test, guys. He passed that Charlie Radke test with flying colors, man. He looked good. And he had a lot of you guys dunking on my boy Charlie Radke. So Charlie Radke had to come out there, knock out Matthew Semmelsberger KO was beforehand, strangle Derek Frunza, and then dominate Francisco Prado like that to get some goddamn respect. I think Mike Malott's actually really good, dude. He's a striking coach, by the way. He actually has coached, and so I like his mind for the game. It's fair to bring the Neil Magny performance up because he really did fold when the going got tough. I don't predict Mike Malott to be a champion, but right now is his time. Right now is not Gilbert Burns' time. I think Gilbert Burns doesn't get those grappling opportunities he'll need to win. I think Mike Malott fights really well from range here. It's kind of bull and matador, and I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to be going forward enough to really win as the bull. I think the matador is going to be able to move side to side, put shots on him, make him walk into shit. Gilbert Burns wobbles, gets him out of there.
Mike Malott money line is minus 330, plus 270 for Gilbert Burns on the opposite side. If you like the knockout from Mike Malott, it's expected. It's minus 130, actually. Damn, bro. Damn, son.
I think the odds are right.
Yeah, I think he's going to show out. I just think, a lot of people I see in the comments, a lot of faith in Gilbert Burns. And, obviously you could be like, oh, but you know what? We're just trusting in your jinx, Big J. I get it. But I don't think this time, dude. No,
if Mike Malott fumbles the bag here and gets strangled by Gilbert Burns, bro, do we need to bring in somebody to lift the curse?
It's almost a good thing then. It's almost as impressive as nearly sweeping the main events, even if you're on the other side, because it's like, dude, you just go against it and then boom. I have power. If I pick Sean Strickland, Khamzat Chimaev's a lock. If I pick Khamzat, though, Strickland might pull shit off, I could change divisions and shit. I could change the sport. But I did pick Kevin Vallejos in what seems like an obvious pick in a main event. I'm thinking it's an obvious pick. Yuri Prochazka and Carlos Ulberg was a dogfight tooth and nail, right? It's like it was on paper, it was close. And at the end of the day, it turned out to be stupid to pick Yuri now in hindsight. But Max Holloway versus fucking Charles Oliveira. Many thought there'd be some takedown defense. I'm saying this one here, it just seems like no-brainer Malott, and everybody's dog chasing because a lot of underdogs been winning main events this year. I just think Malott pulls through.
And you know what? If Gilbert Burns strangles Mike Malott, I think we got to call AJ the Iceman, because these main events will just be on fucking ice, bro. We need to my cousin Daisy. She reads people's astrological signs and kind of.
You might need to do this.
Yeah, dude. She might need to give you a fucking reading, dog. You might need to figure this shit out, because AJ's. I'll tell you guys what I see. I saw the comment section and I see what y'all are doing to my boy AJ. And let me tell you this. AJ even flipped from Curtis Blades to Hokit last week, because AJ does his fucking homework. And anytime I'm breaking down fights, I always do want to hear what AJ has to say. I have the blessing of doing the show with you, but a lot of times I'll listen to your show before this, and I'll know what you're going to say. That's why I'm able to pick out little things you said, and we could talk about them in the show, because I'm watching your content. It's not because I want to know AJ's picks beforehand. It's because I respect AJ's breakdowns and analytical mind. And, we break things down. We break martial arts down in a way where we're looking at probabilities, we're looking at styles, and I seeing AJ have an analytical mind that he brings to MMA. So there's a lot of calls that AJ could be proud of. And, the main event curse is just kind of hilarious to me. So, yes, I don't believe in curses. Mike Malott's getting this done.
Let's go. Finch and I both going Mike Malott as a clear favorite to take out a past his prime Gilbert Burns. We're going knockout on the Malott side. ready to rock and roll. And we got one more section. We're not done yet. All right. It's time that we talk the parlays to play.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fist fights.
Yeah. Parlay time. Gilbert Burns is 39. Why the fuck would you bet on him in Canada against Mike Malott on Saturday night? Yeah, I'm going Mike Malott as the obvious leg to a parlay. If you're going to parlay on this card, which doesn't seem to be an extremely parlayable card at first glance, I will do my bets tonight. So I will go through. I only have placed one bet so far on this card, and it was a straight money line bet. Zip, if you want my bets, DM at Mike Finn Show on Instagram and getting premium channel. Shameless plug. I'm going to go Mike Malott, AJ. I think Mike Malott should be able to have a special highlight performance against Gilbert Burns here.
I'm in agreement with that, and I'm going to lock it with the other side of Charles Jourdain, main and co-main event, baby. Co-main event, Jay, back on business this week, all right? And I think that's the money, bro. Plus 116, plus 105, depends where you're at, plus 119. So you get some plus money love with two confident picks from us both. I think it's hitting, dude. I feel damn good about it, and I like that parlay. Hey, W. Braden K, thank you for gifting a membership, my boy.
Good man. Hey, the parlay together was what odds?
Plus 116, plus 119, plus 105. Depends where you get it. Depends on your book, bro. The book that I use. Let me see.
I like a plus.
That's
I
nice,
like
right?
a plus, bro. I like a plus.
Well, plus one.
Yeah, I'll sign off on that.
I got plus 106, bro.
Okay. Yeah,
Plus
I sign off
106.
on that one.
It's $100
believes
parlay.
that'll
We'll put it
hit.
down.
Signature.
Listen, it's $100 parlay. I'll put it down right now. There we go.
Hey.
Go with the finish. Here we go.
Shit, I'll throw it down right now too. I got
Let's
my
go.
account open too. Let's fucking go here. All right.
go.
We got Robert Valentin. I'm just kidding. No. Wow. He's the favorite. Valentin's the favorite.
Crazy.
They're both so bad, guys. Oh my God. Why would you bet on that fight? That's crazy. Couple of these are interesting now that I'm looking at these fucking odds, dude. Charles Jourdain's minus 150. Honestly, that could be a straight play too. Mike Malott, you get the plus 117. Let's go. Done. Bet placed.
Let's go. W. Finch and I both locking in that Savage two-leg, man. I know. Yo, if you guys believe in the curse, go bet Gilbert Burns. You got a huge underdog. We wish you nothing but the best.
Don't bet the house. Don't bet the fucking house. Don't bet the mortgage. You know, don't bet.
Don't bet it. Listen, it's like, you know, the Gilbert Burns side, if he shows out, that would be spectacular. But you got to question where he's at 39, dog. Like, just got to keep it honest based on logic and evidence of truth is that fighters at 39 on 4-fight losing streaks are not often going to win. You know, Kevin Villegas fought a 41-year-old Josh Emmett on a losing streak and absolutely cooked him. And Josh Emmett had been beaten in the first round in the fight right before. It's like there's evidence that these things make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. No curses, folks. AJ main event is back, and it'll be a beautiful betting card, even though it's not a beautiful anticipation card. You know, me and AJ went through all the pains and the agony of preparing for this thing. But now that we're prepared for it, I think you're going to have some. It is a bettable card, actually. As
but preparing for it
was, as it is.
Yeah, it's it was, you know, I was like, before I did this notes, I'm like, you got to be shitting me. But I'm like, all right, there's some decent fights, there's some dogs, there's some locks, there's some money to be had if you're on the gambling side. So
I love Dana White. Okay. Big Dana White fan. I know people hate on Dana White. I love him, but he has this thing that he does all the time where he goes, how could you know a card is good or not before you watched it? You haven't even watched the card yet. Dana, that's clearly not what we're talking about. And even if we were talking about that, that's still wrong. Okay. First of all, what are we talking about? We're talking about we don't want to necessarily, we're not so looking forward to tuning in because the matchups didn't compel us as fans, right? You had better fights. If Aaron Pico versus Patricio Pitbull was the main event or co-main event of this fight night, that would have been really helpful, right? That would have been a nice spot for them. You know, you start looking at the middle of this card down to the prelims, and it's pretty sleepy. And so first off, we're talking about anticipation value. It's completely different from, are the fights entertaining? You're twisting what people are saying. Second reason there's a problem with that is, yes, we can say that. Yes, we can say that. You were saying that about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Were you not, Dana? Was Dana not saying, how is this fight going to be good? Mike Tyson's 58, to his credit, actually, he didn't dunk a ton. He likes Mike Tyson, but he's done that before. He's definitely done that before with Jake Paul. He's definitely done that with some of these older fighters who are still fighting. Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3, right? You heard what Dana said about that, it's not sort of essentially, I'm not even trying to paraphrase, but essentially what he said was, it's not worth tuning in for. Okay, if that's the case, then we're judging a card before it happened, Dana. So the judgment on this card is just like, how am I supposed to get excited for this? And I guess the only silver lining answer I can give is, that card was so good on Saturday. I'm just ready for more UFC fights. That was one of the best events I've ever watched. Do I think it'll go down in history? I don't. I really don't think people remember that card as being one of the best cards in MMA history. But value-wise, like as far as watching it, is concerned, unbelievable fights. You saw Marco Rubio cage side, fucking freaking out.
Funny as shit.
It's like that was a lot of fun, dude. Live, you guys in Miami got really spoiled, and so that's why I'm excited for this card on Saturday, because we're back to action.
Let's go. I think the action is definitely going to be delivered regardless of the pre-fight hype being minimal. Go watch the Finchman show. I got it linked up in the live chat. Give him a listen. He's giving his 5 most confident picks. Don't miss the boy show. All right. Hit the sub for him and show the love for him. Smash the likes here. Subscribe here. I'll be live tomorrow with the usual live stream content. I took the afternoon off. I had to bring the thunder tonight. WB mode. Thank you for $4.99, bruz. I checked in an hour ago and checked out. Checked in again. Y'all still out of respect. Give me a 3-bet underdog, please, please. Jesus. Do I have 3 underdogs that I'm predicting win on this card?
3-bet underdog? What does that mean? That we could parlay 3 together, and as long as it's an underdog play, you're good with that? What does that even mean?
I thought he meant 3 underdogs.
3 underdogs for $5? Homie. Yeah, what underdogs do we pick? He likes Daria Zheleznyakova. If you got a gambling problem, call. I don't know. Any other dogs you like?
You had one more. But you're betting on unproven Vologdin. You're betting then on unproven Leblanc.
Right?
I don't know. I want to see him weigh in.
Vologdin's an underdog. That's right.
But Zheleznyakova, I just feel like it's a women's fight though, but it's a little better because, hey, she's a girl that seems to have some upside. But you want to run it? Go, okay. Zheleznyakova, Vologdin, and Leblanc. There you go. 3 fucking dogs.
Yeah.
God bless.
God bless.
That's the E-Gen shit though, my boy. But hey, we wish you luck, bro.
We wish you well, as Tim Dillon would say. I wish them well. Guys, I'm going to go host my show. I'm going to give my 5 most confident picks for UFC Fight Night, Sleepy Canada. I'm the 51st state, Canada, the 51st state. I'm going to go off on my 5 most confident. If you guys want to see those, tune in. I'll be live in 10 minutes.
Let's go. Check out the Finch, guys. We love you. Good night and peace out.